Okay, good. Well, go ahead.
Now we're recording. Okay, well, we're here. I intended to start at 7. I had to fill the audio for an hour. Nothing new on that front.
So now, I think next week you start at 6. Well, you can't do it next week. But you start 2 hours earlier. Every week it's an hour on the audio. So you start 2 hours earlier and we figure it out.
Yeah, well, and sometimes it'll be like on Tuesday where everything just kind of fiddled. And sometimes I'll go in and be like, oh, hey, we're working.
Well, there was an update and I had to actually update your computer yesterday.
But anyway, so we're here today. Actually, we're not too late. We sometimes start at 9, so we're actually not too bad today. But we're going to be finishing Ultimate Alliance 2. We're in the end zone and the end game, you might say, of the game.
Yay! So we're finishing?
That is the hope, is that we can get through the rest of the game tonight, I think.
Okay.
Because we've gotten to the point where they stopped fighting each other, so that means we're probably getting close to the end. Now there's a giant nanite zombie virus trying to take over the world, so of course, being superheroes, it is our job to stop it. By our job, I mean the fact that all the other heroes are finally joining in on it. We were trying to fight it from the beginning. But, yeah, Captain America and Iron Man were having a, air defense battle.
What looks like a full-scale invasion.
So,
let's meet at the briefing station ASAP.
that is what it is. But, we're in Nick Fury's base right now. A bit of a... Essentially, if you're unfamiliar with this game follows the Civil War storyline. Human Registration Act, and Iron Man's all for it, and Captain America's not for it, and they go into war, and all a bunch of superheroes have to choose a side, and, it's all a bunch of fun stuff.
So did you actually read the Civil War stuff?
I haven't read it, no.
Did you
I watched
see
the video
it in
on it once.
Did you see it on like a cartoon thing or anything like that?
I'm not sure. I don't know if there were any of those themed kind of cartoons.
Because when people always talk about, they're like, it's the Civil War. It's just on the Civil War story, and I'm going, I get that, but how many people actually read the Civil War stuff? I know there was a lot of comics involved in it.
Oh yeah.
Because I've never read the whole thing. I've never read any of it. To be honest with you, just be honest with you, it wasn't a storyline that interested me.
Yeah. Well.
I read the Marvel. They first did these major epic things, and it was like the Marvel Secret Wars, and I read that one, and DC had the Flashpoint, and then there was another one DC had before then. So I don't know who actually had it first, DC or Marvel, but they both had these big long storylines, major crossovers in there. And I just never read it. I should read it.
Yeah.
I could be more versed on it.
Our dog just walked in, so I'm petting him. But one of these days, maybe you'll see him when we don't feel like. I'm not lifting you up. He's like 40 pounds, even though he's only like
Harry, what's wrong?
So, which is awesome.
You just sit here.
He's gonna be, he's just kind of chilling with us today. So, anyway. I like the fact that this team we got him who like spins his guns, him who spins his baton, him who also spins his baton, and she is punches.
Cool.
But,
can't you change people there?
I can, if I chose to.
Okay, well, I thought you
just
didn't.
haven't switched anyone out yet.
If you didn't like them, you can switch them. Put up people you like in there.
But
Alright, let her rip.
That sounds not quite
Like
correct.
Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Nick Fury said that. Let her rip.
I don't think he said that.
Well, he does now. I just made him say that.
Okay.
But we should you find out what people want to talk about. Here, Livy's going to sit in for a little bit today.
I'm going to sit and eat my SpaghettiOs.
That's right. So I'm going to move to the side here, and I'll be a co-host today. But I'll be a part of it.
You're the co-host.
But we'll let it back to two girls and a dad.
That sounds like a sitcom.
It is now. I just made it a sitcom.
This is Olivia. She's Madeline from like a distance, or if you have like are slightly like visually impaired. She's pretty much Madeline. So.
I'm eating SpaghettiOs.
Tell us a little about yourself, since you only ever appear as like a hand whenever you appear on these streams.
I sometimes appear as a shoulder. I've been talking to my friends because we got schedules for school. That's
you want to see what's going on? The world's going crazy.
Is this the first or second one?
Second one.
We used to play this a lot when we were kids, so I remember Evie and Mallion playing it a lot.
They must have used Prison 42's portal system to move this fast.
I'm
Worse, time is on their side. We can't stamp this out quickly. It will grow to encompass
They
all
actually created a
humanity.
nanite zombie
In the
virus.
face of this
Right,
new threat, the
right.
Registration Act has been temporarily suspended to allow us to work together.
We're deploying teams.
So Olivia,
around
tell
the
us
world.
about your band
The most
stuff.
My
explosive
band stuff.
situation
Oh, hi
right
guys.
now is
I'm
in
the
the
drum
African
major.
nation
I'm
of
pretty
Wakanda,
cool.
which has reported a
Uh,
massive incursion into their capital
I'm part
city.
Bone Zone, low
Ruled by
brass.
our
We're the
friend
coolest part of the
T'Challa,
band.
also known as the Black
I like
Panther.
that care part.
Wakanda
Stop
is a
licking my
highly
ankles,
advanced
please.
So why is
Draw
only
with
low
his-
part Bone Zone? Why isn't there? And why is it called Bone Zone?
Because it's
They
after
always have
trombones.
You, the best
Who was our
figure sent into this
originator was this
combat
guy named
zone.
Tyler, and he used to play
Do whatever
trombone.
it takes to help
He was
Black
like,
Panther defeat these
we're named
invaders
Bone Zone now. We
and
kind of just
regain
rolled with it.
control of his
It's
country.
been 2 years, but
I think he's got that color thing.
Did he
on
come
it.
up with that, or did he get it from
he
somewhere?
came up with it.
Thank
Oh,
goodness
cool.
you're here, my friend. No time for pleasantries, though. The enemy have our
So I like
cities
when I won't go to a
surrounded
band
and are
competition
firing on
like
us
20
with
other things
siege
with
cannons.
Bone Zone.
Mm-mm.
Please take
That's
out
kind
those
of cool in
guns.
the original.
We can't hold out against them much longer.
Is that Miss Marvel?
Yeah, I'm playing Miss Marvel.
She
I got,
was so cool here.
that's what we talked about last week.
So cool. I
This-
literally just watched a TikTok the other day. I was talking about how much Captain Marvel sucked. And I was like, I couldn't agree more.
So what did you like about Captain Marvel?
She
We
was
talked
just-
about this before.
Yeah, we want to hear your opinions.
Oh, you just wanted to pick. You say here.
Well, it's because...
Cameras over here.
Hey there. Did it just move? I feel like it just moved. Maybe that was my brain.
You're actually moving right now as you sway back and forth. That's how movement works.
Because we already had the Fool himself one. That's like, I'm so powerful. That one is Tony Stark, obviously, because that's like his character. He's egotistical.
I mean, that's his character, that's Thor's character.
I know, it's a lot of them.
Star-Lord's character.
I know a lot of people are just like, oh, it's because it's a woman now you don't like it. But I was like, no, it's because the whole team is oversaturated with that. And, like, it made sense for them, but like, I just felt like I just didn't really like a movie either. It just wasn't like as fleshed out as everyone else's was.
Well, I think the issue that was, when it came down to it, she didn't have any character traits besides arrogant, and all the rest of them, even if
She
they...
could have been a girl boss, but they missed the opportunity.
Well, if you're a girl boss, you don't need to state you're a girl boss. You just are. You walk into
Yeah,
the room
you
and everyone
prove it.
understands.
You prove it.
What's a girl boss?
Essentially,
A
you
girl
want,
who commands respect.
yeah, like you're the one who's more together with the times and stuff like that. So you define our terminology for our father.
Tell me the lingo.
Like
so I
what?
understand.
Give him an example of what you say a girl boss is in another media.
So I see hashtag girl boss all over. So
Gaslight gay girl boss.
What?
Is that where that is from? I saw that
Where's it
on
from?
a DeviantArt thing.
Gaslight gatekeep girl boss.
She just repeats it. She's a
I've seen
consumer of modern media.
I heard it at drum major camp, so.
I've seen it in the context of a business. Like somebody was like, "Oh, we have a great group of girls here, girl boss." Something. I'm like, okay.
It's
Okay.
part of like female empowerment. Like,
Okay.
Okay.
go females. Go women.
Go,
That's
go
okay.
women.
I mean, you can say that, but I just didn't know what it meant.
Well,
I didn't know if it meant
I
like
saw it
something
on a
specific.
character once, and I thought they're like, oh, hey, that's clever. I'm like, oh no, they're just copying a
Lady
stereotype.
Dominatrix is a girl.
She is. That's true. She is very much a girl boss.
Commands respect.
She's a vampire lady in a video
Giant,
game.
really cool vampire later, and you see her.
Girl,
Respect.
female vampires by nature are girl bosses because,
They're just so cool.
well, the nature of a vampire is that they're supposed to be like these very predatory charm killers. Like they're just so alluring and so like
She's
fascinating
so beautiful.
that you want to be near them. Like that's what makes them so dangerous. It's not the fact that they are super strong or fast or they're really hard to kill. It's like no, the fact that literally half the time if you're dealing with a vampire, you won't know it until it's too late. Like they literally will invite you into their homes, treat you well for like maybe weeks, months, and then they'll prey on you to the point where you can't actually leave because you don't remember what your life was outside of them. They're literally charm killers. And the reason they're awesome is because, and those are just the male ones. It's like the female vampires are even more deadly because of the fact that in the age that most of them came around, which is like, you know, the 1900s, so like, you know, 1930s, 1950s, even before that in the 1800s, is like, that was a time when, you know, women were not expected to do anything. They just kind of had the roles. So a female vampire was even harder to sniff out because they were like, well, she's just gonna stay in the room back there because that's what a woman does. And then female vampire would come out and be like,
Like
nope,
the
I'm
Dora
gonna...
Milaje? They're girl bosses. These are awesome.
They'll come out and just be like, you know what? I don't feel about it. They're like, well, you want to sit in like this room and sew and stuff like that. She's like, no, I think I'm gonna go on a walk. I think I might go ride a horse or something. But it was like, oh my gosh, scandalous. You're wearing pants, not a dress. Oh my gosh.
You know what? Peggy Carter, also a girl boss.
Yes,
Yeah,
she
talk
is.
about okay.
She is
so,
also a girl boss.
So Livia's been watching Peggy Carter, so we want to have your
Agent Carter.
well, Agent Peggy Carter, whatever it is.
Pretty up.
Okay, give us the whole synopsis of this. Should we watch it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we didn't watch it.
So.
And just so all viewers know, is there any viewers right now? Yeah.
One.
We're working on it.
Hi, one here.
Yeah, but anyways, Olivia didn't
Oh,
invite
okay,
anybody
here.
to watch the show with her, so
Yes,
she's
by
got
all means,
to
keep looking at the camera.
There's spaghetti in mine.
Guess they don't make nanites like they used
Love that.
You do have bracelets, that's true.
So, I've been watching this show called Agent Carter. It came out a while ago.
It was like one of the first Marvel TV shows, wasn't it?
Yeah. But I just watched it recently because I've enjoyed watching the more recent Marvel shows like Loki and WandaVision. So I wanted to watch it to see what's happening because there's this whole discourse after Endgame because when Steve went back to stay with Peggy, they're like, that means the entire Agent Carter show is non-canon anymore. They just scrapped it. And so and everyone was so mad about it. So I was like, oh, what's the big deal? And so I got to watch it. And it's only about 8 episodes per season. There's 2 seasons before it got canceled. But it's really good because it follows Agent Carter, obviously, through. She works with the SR still, which is just American government, basically. And like,
Secret agent.
yeah, she's so cool. And it's about like her just having like struggles of being like a woman in like America.
That's what I'm saying. Well,
like,
it's all depending on the time period. And that's why I'm saying that like
I
certain,
love her wardrobe.
certain
Oh my
like
gosh.
female characters are more interesting depending on what time period they show up in. Because sometimes they show up in a period where like, oh, you can't do that. It's like, you want me to break your head?
And she kicks butt, but she also does it in heels and a skirt. So like
I'm
it's
telling
extra
you.
impressive. And like her blouses are so pretty, and she has the prettiest dresses. And then she's over here kicking butt too.
Okay, I'm telling you,
so
heels
cool.
are improvised weapons, pretty much.
And like she brings it up too. They're like, "Oh, are you sure you wanna go track down this person in heels?" And she's like, "I've done much worse." And like she'll be like scaling a building, and she's wearing heels. And I'm like,
Well, I mean, they did make her
what?
posture better, that's for sure. And the funny thing is that men wore heels first. It was actually a male construct because, you know, height means power, means you dominate over your foes. So they were the ones who started the heels. It was women that made them fashionable,
I love it.
which is, I think, is just really funny. But kind of same thing with like you know, all the other like random like fashion things will be like, oh well, that's such a thing. Like, no, actually, guys tried it first. They just couldn't make it work.
I also love they had a little detail where she classically wears the bright red lipstick, but in here it's like a weapon. It's called Sweet Dreams, so it has some like poison in it. So whenever she kisses someone, they pass out, and it's so cool. And she uses it. And what I like is that she uses all of her gadgets and stuff. It's not like they're there just for show. She
Yeah.
she's
She's
them
doing
in
the whole
action.
spy thing.
I just think this show just fleshes out her character so much because in the first Avenger, she was just there as just love interest. She's
I
only
mean, she
there.
was kind of being her own girl boss, but you're paying attention to Captain America.
But it's called Captain America, the first
Yeah.
Avenger, not
She's a side
Peggy
character.
Carter, the love interest of Captain America, the first one.
What should be called that?
I mean, to be fair, even when she was the love interest, like she was more active than he was until he got his powers.
Valid.
And even when he was doing his thing, she's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go break this guy's arm.
I'm gonna go
Join
shoot
up.
you even if the shield doesn't work.
Well, that's like, yeah, I would say she's without a doubt a girl boss. But I think it's I love it when they have those things where it's just like, oh yeah, it's like this lady looks really pretty and she's wearing lipstick. What could that be about? Never mind, she's not too out.
And they use that in the show too, because one of the their biggest person they're against is Leviathan. It's basically the Hydra, and it's like they're prototyping the Red Room because it's the same concept of Russian girls being trained as assassins, but it's called Leviathan in
But
the
is
show.
it actually like tying to Black Widow at all, or they
No, it
doesn't.
doesn't.
Okay.
They just
Just curious.
you're just like, oh, that sounds exactly like this thing, but they don't really mention it.
Yeah, I would put Black Widow as a femme fatale. I would not necessarily make her a girl boss, though. I do not see those two terms as like similar. I see femme fatale are like women who have been scorned or hurt by society, and therefore they're at a lower level, and then they rise up to become powerful and dangerous and assassins and stuff like that. Girl bosses, I feel, just walk into the room and you know that they own it. You know, like they don't have to be damaged first in order to become powerful. I feel like femme fatales have to,
powerful.
I feel like femme fatales have to be damaged first, and then they become powerful. So. That's why I respect her a little bit more than I respect Black Widow, at least where she is currently in the MCU. Because, I don't know, she got like progressively less cool over time, which is funny when you think about it. I think she was probably coolest in her first like iteration.
Oh, in
and
the
then
first
as time
Avengers
went on,
movie,
she just
she
became
was
more and more
cool. That was her best hairstyle too. Okay.
Yeah. But it's like as time went on, she just got more and more like, you know, like she was either there to be a love interest or she was there to.
Oh, they completely sexualized her for all of them. Because she was
Well,
only
it
there
wasn't
to be
even
a love
like a
interest for a
sexualized thing,
different
but
guy in each one.
She became the heart for some reason. All like there's like a trope thing called the 5-man band where you have like 5 essential character archetypes to make a perfectly balanced team, and it's what should I do now? Am I supposed to hit this?
Buff man. Hulk.
Oh no. Okay.
Emo guy.
But
Hawkeye.
so essentially you have
Billionaire. Obviously,
well, the way it is that
billionaire.
you have the leader, whose role is pretty obvious. You have the Lancer, whose job is to challenge the leader, but they're usually their best friend or rival.
Tony Stark.
There is the Brain, obviously.
Bruce Banner.
There is the Brawler, who's not necessarily a meathead, but they are the strongest and the one more likely to take action than anyone else.
Either
And then
Hawkeye
you-
or Hulk.
And then you have, I think Hawkeye counts that.
Well,
He is the one who's most likely to. Stop holding me. He is the one most likely to act without asking for anyone to say so.
Mm-hmm.
But and then there's the Heart, who's obviously, you know, like for instance, if you were going to say like a team and stuff like that, I would, you know, they're the person that is always going to not necessarily be cheerful, but the person that helps everyone stay in line, essentially. And the thing is that she kind of became the Heart after a while. And the thing is that doesn't, I don't know if that suits her, you know? Like, she was kind of the one that had to help people stay, like, morally, like, almost Captain America needs to be in that role, and he fell out of it.
But he was the...
That's like where
too
he
busy
started.
being the leader.
Well, that's the thing. He started there, and then he became the leader, and that's fine, because, like, you could have, like, Steven Universe, I think, is, like, a Heart and a leader character.
Yeah.
Because they only have 4 instead of 5. So I think that they just combine him as the leader, and... his model didn't load incorrectly. He's supposed to be knocked out right now, not standing.
You have the plan, but the enemy is
See,
inside
he's passed out now. Oh, I love old games. Old games are fun. But anyway,
Then follow you to the city.
but I think that so like that's fine. I think if you like combine character roles, because you know you don't always have 5. Sometimes you have more than that. Sometimes 2 characters play the same role. But I feel like she almost kind of lost her purpose as more heroes came to the team.
Yeah.
She did better, like you said, in Avengers.
The first one.
I think is probably her best role. What was the one that came after that she appeared in? Because she doesn't have her own movie, so you have to remember where she cameoed.
She's been in all the Avengers movies. I think Civil
Black
War.
Widow?
Black Widow,
She
yeah.
started in Iron Man,
Yeah, she did start there, but
and then the Avengers, and then she was in Captain America, Civil War.
that's true.
Was she in
The
Winter
Winter Soldier.
Soldier?
She was in Winter Soldier. She did good in that one, I
I
think.
only know Sebastian
Well,
Stan.
I feel like in Winter Soldier she got to do more spying. You know,
Yeah.
like she got to go sneaking around and doing her whole knocking people out stuff. But if I feel like after that, she didn't really spy much. She was like, I'm the love interest,
Yeah.
or I'm the person that helps pull people back, or
She just
I
felt
have
less
this thing
threatening.
I have this thing with Hulk, and that's it. You know.
She said, I'm the Hulk handler, I'm
That
not
was
Black
too
Widow.
contrived.
Well, it had no time to build is the problem. If you want people to care about a relationship that you don't like, that isn't already set up. Essentially, that the characters don't come in and they're coming in as, oh hey, we are friends, you know, which is how I think there are definitely a lot of like deals that do that. Then you have to kind of give a reason, kind of like if these two are supposed to be together, but they haven't been for the last 3 movies they've appeared to get together in, you have to be like, well then why now? What changed? Why suddenly this? Because I think, like, she originally appears with Iron Man, and she flirts with him. She then appears with Captain America, flirts with him. Then it's Ultron, and she's like, now she's with Bruce Banner. I'm like, so And they even have a line about it, I think, Captain America points out, where he's like, oh, she flirts with everyone. He's like, I know what flirting is, it's not this. I'm like, well, how do you know? It seems like she keeps switching from guy to guy. You know? I don't quite get it. And that's why I'm like, I don't know what to think about for her movie coming up. Because I'm like, what does she have that's just her at this point? Especially since we already know she's canonically dead, you know?
But I'm interested to see her backstory, because we've always wanted that.
Yeah. I just wish she would have been sooner, you know?
Yeah, but it was supposed to be sooner, but obviously.
Well, kind of like, we could have, like... Kind of like, I feel like, it feels odd doing it after Endgame.
I think it's because they were riding the hype from the previous Avengers movies. They're like, oh, it's gonna get bigger, it's gonna get this, we're building towards this, but I feel like it would have been awkward.
Like, almost you have to wonder if you would have cared more for her death if you knew more about her beforehand. Like, the reason we kind of care about her death is because of her relationship with Hawkeye, which I honestly wish that they leaned more into that, because I like that they had this whole, like, we're buddy spies, you know? Like, that's strongest in Avengers, definitely. And you can kind of see it to an extent in Age of Ultron. I mean, Hawkeye's a little all over the map, if you ask me, in his characterization there.
They always make him like a different kind of guy in each.
Well, they make him super tough in one, and then he's a dad in the next one, which is fine. It's just like with Bruce Banner and Black Widow, there's no build up to it. It just happens, and you're like,
they're like, oh, let's go to this house, and you're like, you have children?
Which is cool, but then they're like,
you're married?
It feels like they were literally only setting that up so you could feel bad when the snap happens and
you know what this game is?
And then he's like, oh yeah, you can definitely be an assassin now.
Yeah, essentially, it feels like they only built up he had a family so they can make him go, like, vigilante afterwards, you know? I think if things happen, they should just, you know, happen. Stop punching. He's glitching.
I know what I never asked you guys on the things. Talk about superhero movies. Did you guys watch Spawn?
There is another tower to repair.
I know of it. I've not
Never heard of
it.
He's the one with the, like the tendril things, right? I'm trying to picture what he looks like. Yeah.
Because I just thought they're making a they're gonna reboot it. But there was a Spawn movie. I think we have it. Speaking of comic book, we haven't seen that.
You people give silence a bad name. Turn off, drop out.
That's what Spawn was thinking.
Yeah, that guy. I've heard about that guy. I didn't know he had a movie, but I do know.
Yes, there is a movie. So you'll have to watch that. It's fun.
But we actually
And I took it easy on you.
You can weigh into it if you want, Olivia. But we actually did watch a couple of movies this week.
Yay, let's talk about
we did watch. We caught up on some things. One that we watched that was new was like we watched Raya and the Last Dragon last night, and then the one before that was we watched Mary Poppins Returns, which I wanted to watch when it came out, but I completely forgot somehow.
Great soundtrack.
Oh, it has an amazing soundtrack. And I super loved it, and I wanted to watch it actually again the next day. I'm like, wow, this is a catchy soundtrack. But like, it's one of those weird things that's kind of like you ever go like to movie theaters and be like, why didn't you see that movie after you see like the trailer, and then you just forget it exists. You know, that was essentially how I was with that movie. But I was glad to watch it because it's very good successor, I think. The funny thing is that for most of I've seen, the reason I wanted to watch it was I was watching like some like one of the like review people I watch who does like skits and stuff like that, and they're pointing out things about the movie. I'm like, I never watched that. I'm just realizing that now. It actually right now holds the record for longest time between a sequel and a prequel. Like the original movie and the sequel have 54 years between them, which is the longest reigning record before that was 48 years. So it's like over half a century between these two movies. And it still is a better follow-up than Incredibles 2, which only has like 16 years between it.
That was not a girl boss moment.
No, and they tried, and that's why it hurt. Again,
that was a gaslight moment.
There were a lot of things that I think that
they just reused the same story. Just switch the roles.
That was I think the issue is that instead of like all sequels by nature kind of have to go and pay like homage to their predecessors.
This one just copied it.
Yeah, this-
It's like when you take a paper from a friend,
Well, it was-
and you're like, ooh, it's definitely my paper because I put my name on it and I changed a few words. But it's the same thing. Come on. It's the same exact thing.
It was a bad movie.
It's amazing how, like, yay, go us. But, it was just one of those things that I was kind of like, okay, I don't really know why we're telling the story. Like, the whole point of the first story was the idea that supers are illegal, so we have to go and essentially, like, but supervillains are still out there, so we have to go and show what it is to be a true hero, and there's so many themes that are interesting. It has a lot of family themes in it, has a lot of identity themes, and so the fact that the first one goes and be like, well, you know all the stuff we accomplished in the first movie, well...
Erased.
Yeah,
They literally
it didn't
took
happen.
Violet's entire arc with her guy,
They reset it!
and they said, oh, I don't remember you. So they can
now
redo it. Like,
well, her arc, the whole idea of, hey, we need superheroes again. And then they're like, nope, the police still hate them. I'm like, okay.
what
then
happened to
was
the
purpose of
entire first movie?
what happened? And the worst part was that it's like, it didn't need to do that because of, the reason it was jarring was because they literally picked up at the end of the first movie. So, it cannot be more obvious that this is a sequel. You literally just had to continue to tell the story you started with instead of like, you know what? We need to do the entire thing we did beforehand, but with his wife.
But now the water looks really cool, you know? Because of the graphics.
Well, the odd thing is that like when you think about it, the Incredibles are essentially the dynamic of the Fantastic Four, you know, and for some reason they have issues doing movies too. But
Fantastic Four has always sucked.
well, it hasn't always sucked, but they've never really achieved. It's kind of like I think there are a lot of great Spider-Man movies, but I think I've not really enjoyed
Like
the
the
live
one with
action
the
ones
Silver
truly
Surfer,
until
that was good.
yeah,
I like that one.
that one was good. It's like I like the Spider-Man movies; they're decent enough, but I don't think all of them succeed in the way they could. And I like the what's his name? The current Spider-Man. Oh hey Christian,
Tom Holland.
what's up? I got replacement Madeline. This is
Wrong
not
one. Camera's over here.
yeah.
Why do you keep it over here if you're looking? Oh, you look at that, dude.
Yeah, because this is the direction we're looking most of the time. So this is blonde Madeline. Bald Madeline's on the floor, but he's here too.
With my earrings, and little scissors.
They are little scissors.
I got my
You can lean
Shein
closer to
order
the camera if
today.
you want. Like she makes her own earrings. They're pretty cool.
I do, but I bought these. These are from Shein. They were $1.
Oh.
Right, from
like-
Sheen?
Yes.
From
Jimmy Neutron.
From? I didn't know you sold them.
I mean, if there's anyone who's gonna sell weird jewelry.
Or from Planet Sheen?
Exactly. But it's I don't know. There's so many things I can look at The Incredibles 2 and be like, I don't know why this didn't work. You literally had to do nothing here, really.
It was not a hard thing to pick up on.
Well, the weird thing is that it's so blatantly copying the original one. So I'll say.
And they left it on a cliffhanger. They could just picked up the mole dude and be like, "You're
I'll
our
tell you one
antagonist."
thing. They've had games that picked up from where the mole guy left off, and those have been more interesting. But so to go back to the thing I was really saying with Mary Poppins Returns, like that's a one that has to, in some part, it does have to rely on nostalgia to an extent. And it does cover a lot of similar tropes to the first one, but it still feels like it has its own identity. And that's something I don't think Incredibles did. For some reason or another, it feels like it is just strangled by its predecessors. And I don't know where that went wrong exactly. So well, first of all, I still like the fact that do you subscribe to the theory that Mary Poppins is a Time Lord? I think it's funny. Well, the thing is, like, okay, so has a something that's bigger on the inside, has almost like an omnipotent knowledge of things that probably shouldn't, that either don't exist in that timeline or don't make sense in that timeline, and as known in the sequel, doesn't seem to age and could be the same person despite looking different. AKA like regeneration with the Doctor. I don't know who this guy is. Avon?
He's a bomb.
Who the heck is Avon?
God, enlighten us.
Annabelle?
Yeah, this is Avon.
Oh, I don't know.
It's supposed to be Abomination or something?
Abomination's brown.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't know who this up.
Okay, just so I just went onto the Twitch thing to go see if everything's coming through okay, and it is. And there's 3 people licking ears.
That's so weird on so many levels, and I don't know why.
I still have to take you out.
Well, I kind of understand how it is this, but I don't
Here's the
really
thing.
acknowledge it.
No, I don't want to.
Oh wow.
Set up, and they lick ears. Just unfreaking believable. People pay.
She has no shirt on.
They pay money. You get so many subscriptions, and you pay so much money. Unbelievable.
XD.
Anyways,
Just. Wow, that's leaves a lot to an imagination. I wonder if he's a hero.
yeah, you have microphone set up that
I don't doubt it because the internet is weird and I don't want to know the things you can get on the internet. But maybe those guys just running around and we're just like, well, keep punching this dude. Don't worry about him.
I like Gambit.
The Gambit's over there, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I Gambit. I miss Gambit. Doing that.
Yeah, he's still back.
It's one of my favorites.
Damn it.
Gambit.
I never got into that character.
Well, we
He's
know
so-
him from the cartoon.
I know him from the
not
cartoon.
Comics.
Yeah, I never watched.
The
No,
comics
I
I love the cartoon. That was
he's-
my child.
Well, I think he's better portrayed in the cartoon than he is in the comics.
He was
He's a li-
so cool.
Well, he gets a bit complicated and his origin gets redone like 3 times in the comics, so I think he's more interesting if your first introduction to him is the cartoon. Namely because you have the whole team is already assembled and he has the great lady name.
Oh, him and Rogue. Awesome.
It's a good time. Power couple, that's for sure.
So cool.
Well, I remember the other day I was talking to someone about writing accents, like how to use that in writing. And they were talking about, I was like, so how do I do like a Southern Belle? Like, just watch Rogue from X-Men. That's all you really need to know. Oh, still busy. I forgot because he's human sized, so I was like, oh wait, that dude with the cape is not with me. I don't know who this guy is, but he's just.
Is that one Justice or is
Yeah,
Justice a movie?
he's called Justice, I guess.
Good for him.
Yeah, I mean, sure, I guess. This tells you most superheroes give you some like sort of indication of what they do. His is just kind of like, well, he's Justice. He's a superhero, I'm assuming. These ones are at least passed on the ground. They're not like standing
Our
up.
homes are safe. I shall post guards with these 2 while
Okay,
we
there's
go
Fairy out in the
secure their
hallway.
palace.
But I just like that they all look exactly the same too. Because you know before, like they had the MCU Civil War. This was the Civil War I knew was this game. And it seems like a more justifiable conflict in this one. The one in the movie seems like so petty, kind of like.
Well, it was realistic, but like.
Not compared to this one, I don't think, because it's kind of like this one thing happened, and now we're angry at only the Avengers. This one was like a matter of, okay, people are getting like, people were acting like, a Black Arms thing where they weren't being like. The whole thing starts from the fact that Nick Fury goes and takes them overseas and attacks a place, and then this place a year later attacks back, causes a big terrorist incident. So if superheroes were being monitored, that wouldn't have happened. Another thing that happens is a bunch of rookie heroes who have a TV show are fighting a bunch of supervillains in a civilian area, and one of the guys blows up and destroys a 5-mile block, killing said civilians. If those heroes were, more regulated or watched over or mentored or something, that wouldn't have happened, is the point.
Is that circle burned into the screen?
Where? The ring?
Yeah.
It goes way slowly. It actually looked way worse an hour ago.
What's it from?
It's just the TV that does that. It's like a sort of
It looks like when you leave something on the TV for too long, it burns on the screen.
Yeah.
Where?
It's like it's like.
You can see it when it's a black screen. You can't see it now.
Shouldn't.
It actually looks a
Remember
lot.
old TVs used to do
It looked a lot more intense when the TV first came on, so I think it goes away after a while.
I think it just burns into the screen.
Well, because originally it was a much thicker glow, and you guys can't see this because we're looking at this on TV. But
Yeah, that's why I looked over here. I was like, that's not there.
yeah, it's fine.
Oh my gosh, I have another view. Hi. camera's over here. I keep on forgetting.
Yes, wave into the camera, not the wave.
I keep on waving at the computer.
And if Harry keeps on saying that he wants that beanbag.
Harry, take the beanbag. Gaslight gatekeep girl boss. Gatekeep that beanbag.
Tell you, we need more girl bosses, and the problem is with them is that people don't seem
Agent Carter.
well, they don't seem to understand what makes one. Because it's like the way a girl boss works is that you don't intend to make them a girl boss. You intend to make them just someone who kicks butt, and you go from there. You know, it's if you go in with the intention of making a girl boss, it's not going to end up that way. You have to just go in being like, I'm going to make this thing powerful. I'm going to make this thing scary, and then you're like, well, there you go. Good job. It kind of like you were bringing up Lady Trust earlier, and I'm like, yeah, this is yeah, she wraps. For so many reasons besides just the whole thing with female vampires being awesome, because they were like the only empowered females in those sort of stories. In like 1800s, they're like, you know, I'm gonna go around, I'm gonna wear pants, I'm gonna be a real rebel here, you know. But the things that's is all we do? Okay. The thing that is interesting about it is that I think if they would, like, the whole idea is like she's a villain, you know, she's a boss. And so I'm like, I think that's why it works, because they're not going and saying, this is an empowered female character, like, nope, she's just strong and intimidating and just owns the stage as soon as she comes on. Then they're like, oh, hey, well, that's how you got the character, as opposed to going in and being like, well, we wanted to mean X, Y, and Z. And I think, I like to say, I haven't seen it, but I like to say Agent Carter works the same way. We're like, okay, we're gonna do a spy show, and our lead happens to be female. You know, it's never a moment of, well, we're gonna do this, and we have a certain, I think that's the reason Captain Marvel has issues, is that I feel like it's hung up on itself. They made a good plot, and not a good character to run that plot. Although, to be honest, I don't know if they did a very good plot. I think if they were gonna sell a whole, like, alien war thing, they could have set that a little better. Which is kind of surprising, considering that Guardians of the Galaxy already kind of dealt with the whole Kree thing, didn't they? That was what that one dude was, right? The Ronin dude?
No.
I thought he was Kree.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking of Skrulls.
Yeah, the Skrulls are the shapeshifters. They have to deal with yeah, they deal with Fantastic Four a lot.
They were starting to do that.
Yeah, and then they had the Super Skrull guy who had like all their powers.
Yeah, they all got. There was 4 of them. It was kind of interesting. They were in like one of the first Fantastic Four books, and they actually captured them. They captured 3 of them, and the 4th one got away. But how they continue that on, that storyline later on.
I think shape-shifting enemies are always interesting to do.
Double Trouble from She-Ra. 10 out of 10. Best shapeshifter ever.
Who?
Double Trouble from She-Ra.
Which one's that?
The green one.
Well, you have to describe what they look like more. Like there's one
has a tail, looks like a lizard.
Okay, I haven't seen them. The ones I've seen is there's the one that looks like a cat. There's the one that looks like a lobster.
Catra.
There's the one that
Scorpio.
has hair things.
That's a lot of them. They all have weird hair, except for Frosta. She wears like a hat.
Well, I mean, I think hats are cool.
Well, she also lives in the ice, so she has to be like warm and stuff.
Yeah, I guess that works.
Who's dealing?
Yeah, okay, we're all good.
My favorite her Mista, because she reminds me of Madeline.
How so?
She's like very much like whatever.
Well,
but I'm also like super cool.
Well, Dad's thing that reminds me of Madeline is he finally got a girl on YouTube who would get like distracted by everything and be like, "Hey, we're gonna film the ancient Egypt, and here, let me go and give you a picture of what the toilets look like."
She's super low key, but like super like gained respect because she's really powerful because she like controls the ocean and all that. But I think it's more the aesthetic because it's just the long dark hair and just like I don't know, like she's the only one. Yeah, she's the only one that wears pants. I'll show you a picture. She's really coy. Like
when we watched that thing, Madeline watched it, and she's like, "Yeah, she's
someone
just like
texted me.
Johanna's just like me." Next to she's like,
Renee,
I'm
I
not
love
dumb
Renee.
like her.
It's not dumb.
She's not dumb. She's
just I would say easily distracted.
Yes. Oh, so what's this?
I don't think that's dumb. I think that's just easily distracted. I don't think there's anything wrong with that trait.
No, I think she's very much like that.
That's just usually pretty funny. But I think Olivia's easily distracted. She's just breakdancing right now.
I'm having a good time. I do that a lot at band. I'll be conducting a song and we'll stop the rep and I'm just breakdancing on the drum major stand. Just hanging out, having a good time.
You do that?
Yep. I'm just
So tell everybody about your show this year.
we're doing a spy show. I don't really know much more than that. What else?
You do. You have to see your show. We're spies. We're spies.
Well, like, what's the song?
Well, I conduct James Bond, the longest and arguably the hardest one, because there's so many things that change. But then we play,
You would good lead.
and then I open the show, and then next we play Mission Impossible. I play my instrument for that one, and then the third song is a mashup between Get Smart and Pink Panther. That
All
was
your
really-
classic spy themes.
Obviously. And then we don't know anything. The last one's gonna be a ballad thing. He told us, but I forgot because it was boring. Wasn't really important to me. But all I know is that I'll be conducting like 20 measures of it because the other drum major has a solo in it, so I'm conducting when they're not. Pretty cool.
So how do you do the third one? You gotta go back?
Well, we're gonna do that thing. We're gonna like switch out.
Yeah.
We're gonna like
Oh, yeah, I did
both on this podium. But it's weird because he wants it to be a duet between Nick and Lauren. But it's gonna be awkward if one of them's on the stands or one of them's on the field because it's just gonna look disconnected, especially if it's supposed to be a ballad, meaning you want it to be fluid. But like, I did put in my word, but like, I don't really have that much to say because I'm only like a junior.
You always have so much to say, though, Olivia.
You know, I have so many good opinions.
Well, we won't go that far. We will say you always have something to say.
You have opinions.
Yes, that is a
Good
good.
is a...
Yeah, good is not necessarily the word I would always use, but I also like that I'm saving this place. I'm just destroying literally everything. I'll be like, saved your country. I destroyed every one of your markers.
She's beautiful. Doesn't she like? She was like that.
But it seems things are going badly back in New York. I will patch you in.
Priority 1 distress call from Stark Tower to all friendly forces.
She's the only one with black males in their relation.
Invading force is comprised of nanites
I might have galaxies on them, they suspect me.
superheroes, including... Oh!
Look out! I can see
Good job.
I like how it goes from.
Start tower, respond!
Well, Stark Tower is screwed over, but I like how it went from very strong accent to stronger accent to no accent whatsoever.
See, here's the one you gotta have. This.
No way, Renee is quitting band for bells.
The one that's currently in
Just
there?
recently?
Yeah, she sent me her schedule for this year, and she has bells instead of band.
Just quick in marching band or?
No, concert
Here.
band.
Here's the one you gotta put on your thing. See? See your song.
Wolf Curl. Jimmy's mom. Love him.
Yeah.
We're spies. We're spies. I just remember that from the cartoon.
I do. It was the Jet Fusion
Jet Fusion.
special, which is
And
that's supposed to be a
Spy
parody of
Wonder
James Bond, right?
Join me inside.
Yes.
I will continue trying to contact our allies.
Yes, it was.
Panther calling Stark Tower.
So yes, you need to do that song.
We're gonna have a sort of like James Bondish thing going on.
But what kind of slow song are you gonna have for James Bond or
Fury.
Spies?
You
I've
survived.
never-
It's usually
He told us, but I forgot.
it's usually a religious song, isn't it?
Wait.
Yeah.
It
What
really
are you
isn't.
saying?
What's a
I'm
religious
saying
song
what you should already know. I'm in the fold now.
that you would have
The
there?
fold?
I mean, if he's got one, that's
What are
great.
you
I just don't
talking
know
about?
one that would fit.
I'm talking about the end of war. I'm talking
He
about
has one
sharing
that
what's
he
left of this
did with the
godforsaken
spy show he
planet.
did a couple years ago.
Everyone
I just don't know
together.
it.
Was
You're
yours
one of
last
them.
year kind of like the
I'm one
aborted
of us
spy
now.
show?
And
Yeah,
when
we were
you're
gonna
one
do
of us,
spy show,
you're gonna
but then we were like,
understand.
it's not worth it
We're
to
finally
waste a
gonna be
good
done
show
fighting
idea.
each other
Yeah.
forever.
You know, it wasn't a good
And
show
done
idea.
thinking
Hope.
for
That one
ourselves?
sucked.
No thanks, Fury.
Which one
Like
is
the
Hope?
music
We'd
was
rather
good.
die than be enslaved like
The
you
idea
are.
was
Which
meh.
one is Hope?
The purple shirt.
Really? Well, we can arrange that too.
Well, I don't remember the songs for that one.
High Hopes.
That's like the most lines she has in this movie.
I hope so.
Oh,
This
dude,
song.
Black
Play High
Panther's in
Hopes
this
in
now.
here? I honestly don't remember. That one and Time
got
of
a key.
Life blur together for me.
I didn't know Black Panther had a key.
I kind of like him better without the cape. I'm like, oh.
That looks like
Black
a
Panther?
cat. Yeah, he has a cape.
He originally had it.
Really? Okay then.
I
Apparently
feel like
that's
he's more
telling lies.
And at one
fancy.
point, I think he actually had a half mask. He originally-
Good for him.
Yeah. Okay. That's good.
Where's
He's just kind of. We're beating up all his people. He's Green Goblin.
I'm seeing the Goblin is.
He's flying around. He'll come and get. Oh, he's right behind.
Ms.
dude
Marvel
right here?
zombie.
Is it the cool green, not like the original one, or is it?
Got
I'm
got a
ashamed
purple
you,
cloak
Renee.
thing on, I guess.
No, but I mean they try to make them more modern. Just like before it was like
Beat me
green.
if you had 100% of your brain power.
There's been multiple people that have been Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Norman Osborn, then Harry Osborn, then some other doctor, then.
He's over there. I mean,
And I don't know where the Hobgoblin thing is in the whole world, but I don't.
I thought that was the same person. It's a different person. Green Goblin. That's the thing that I have an issue with sometimes with superheroes in comics is that they tend to like. I guess it's okay to kind of change with the time and stuff like that, but they just tend to retcon themselves so often.
Well, you do know when that's when Steve Ditko, who was the writer, left. That was their final argument between Stan Lee, is that when the Green Goblin was going to be revealed, that they figured out the Green Goblin, his identity, he wanted him to be a nobody. And what do you call Titus Norman Osborn? Stan Lee wanted him to be.
Okay.
Steve Ditko wanted him to just be a nobody, like anybody.
Don't like the silent treatment.
But you wanted to be Harry's dad, which was kind of cool, but then it got so complicated. His dad, but he's got amnesia, but then he doesn't have amnesia.
You taking selfies?
Yes, Taylor was sharing her favorite outfit, and I was sharing the study earlier.
Or to come join the stream.
Yeah, why didn't you watch it?
Get all,
on
your,
TV.
get all your friends in here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I got my like one here and here.
I
For,
just said, is it my bedtime yet? Oh my
Can
god.
you try not to sound so old, please? We
I'm
have
sorry.
everyone else in this room is way older than you are.
Hey, how's your bedtime? What time did you get up this morning?
7.
I didn't see it, so.
Because I sat in the bed.
But I got up on you. Elliot was up and I didn't see you.
I got up, and I was downstairs before
Thanks, I'm trying to cut down.
because I came down and I like immediately took care of a walk. I couldn't sleep. But I've been trying to shift my sleep schedule for school, so.
That's good.
That's good.
So I've been waking up an hour
You're
early.
responsible. You still sound old.
I love sleeping early.
I like it. I thought you were just gonna say, I love sleep. I'm like, I think most people do,
Like,
Olivia.
going to bed at like
No one doesn't
8:45
like it.
and 9 o'clock is so just empowering.
There's Venom over there.
I love it. I started going to bed early like a month ago, and this is the best I've ever felt. Because I don't fall asleep in the middle of the day like my brother. And like I actually have an appetite, which is awesome. And like,
You're just gonna be you should go work with a mattress company. Either
dude, I don't
like-
fall asleep in the day. I don't feel tired. I don't ache anymore. I can actually eat now without feeling like I'm gonna fall asleep. Like, this is great. It's all gonna go so bad when school starts because I'm gonna have to do all these things. But like, for now,
Sorry.
it's nice.
Well, that's actually good. Then you can go back to. You still like that early.
Yeah.
You couldn't beat me
I
if
think-
you had 100% of your brain power.
My brother's just a homer. Ridiculous brother.
Well, but it's good to have good habits.
But I mean, I kind of have 2 freebie classes because I didn't. Well, Mom's gonna email my math teacher, but I didn't make it into the higher one, which would be the one I'm actually supposed to go into. Because AFM is basically a repeat of Geometry and Algebra 2, and I aced both those classes while I was sleeping. So.
I like that all the specials I have with this team is her shooting laser beams and either throwing projectiles or whipping people.
And no, there's only 3 juniors in the class so far. There's like 8 people in the class, and 3 of them are juniors. One of them, she's okay. I don't really like her. The other one's terrible.
I'm glad you know all this stuff.
It's because I made a chart, easy. I wrote down all my classes and who's in all my classes, and then I highlighted all of my friends and like color
You
coded
know
it
the
with people I
rosters
actually
going
talked
in?
to. Well, if you go into their class and you go to directory under each individual class, you can keep using their classes.
You sound like Madeline doing supports in Fire Emblem. She's like, I made a whole chart on how everyone can properly match up so I can get all the kids. I'm like,
all
I
my
just put
best friends
together
are
whoever I felt
sparkly
like
yellow
it.
highlighter, and all the people that I'd be willing to talk to won't be able to partner up with her in class are in pink sparkly highlighter. And then the classes I want to keep are highlighted in orange, and then the ones that I want to possibly change or force request are circled in. It did. It took me like an hour.
Yeah, I'm like, I do not care enough about who I'm in class with to do that.
Well, it's because I'm a very social person, but
You
I'm
are.
also my emotions rely on the grades I get. So I also have to make sure it's a good environment.
See, the difference between you go through a semester and you don't even know who was in her class. So you don't know in your class. That you're gonna be like, Evie,
I could probably tell you them by face. I wouldn't just be able to tell you them by name.
Evie, like, I sat right next to you. Like, what?
Right now, my favorite one
Although
is
to be fair,
English.
I would also probably be the person that everyone would be like, I sat right next to you all semester, and they'd be like, I don't know you. So it's a mutual feeling. I may not remember people, but I don't think many people remember me. So yeah, goes both ways.
No way am I becoming a Ms. Marvel zombie.
I like how all her things.
are
I just like how all her things are like, never pick a fight with a girl. Like, it's campy, but I love it. I feel stronger doing it.
Being Miss Morrow.
She's fun to play with in this. She's just
Thank you.
she girl box.
Without your aid, I shudder to think what would have become of my homeland.
He's got like that whole like
Now,
collar thing. I
what
love
should
it.
we do with these two?
And then Goblin and Venom become playable. You know?
The fall of Stark Tower was just the beginning. Over the past few weeks, the Fold has aggressively ramped up its campaign to take
Elliot
over all of
posted some stuff
humanity.
from his drumline.
Many of our closest friends and allies remain unaccounted for.
X-Men,
We have to
Avengers,
assume
and Make a
they've been
Play,
taken into the Fold.
Great Lake Champions.
It's no coincidence either. The Fold's primary targets are clearly superhumans.
I know, I mean...
Thanks to the acquisition of Fury and his decades of intel.
She goes, I know, I was sad to drop it, but I'm still in marching band. I know I made the right call for me.
Fury's knowledge of Wakanda isn't comprehensive, which is why we've been using Black Panther's palace as our temporary base of operations.
There's like 6 people left in that class.
We're unable to retrieve Venom and Green Goblin after you
That's why I left.
Using the pure nanite samples your team obtained from Prison 42, we've been able to cure these two criminals of their infection.
Venom and Goblin both claim a strong desire to help us stop the Fold. They're not the most trustworthy of allies.
My boy
But
needs
frankly, we
braces.
can't afford to turn them away. With the Fold growing exponentially, infecting entire populations at a time, it's becoming obvious we can't win a war of attrition against them. Their network seems to be the key. If we can only find a way to disrupt
I
it.
legitimately think there's 4 people in the
Unfortunately,
class.
they've clearly been taking
They
steps
can't
to
even
make that
compete at
all but
fine arts.
impossible.
Our best minds are working hard to
They
devise
can.
a strategy to defeat the Fold before it
Sherman.
becomes
Whatever that is.
unstoppable.
That's what that is.
We'll let you know
Bill
if
Foster,
and
don't
when
know
we
who that
come
is.
up
I know
with
it is.
anything
He-
solid.
Bill Foster is Giant
Mr.
Man.
Fantastic. Oh.
Giant Man.
My home.
Trying to
Don't you remember he was in the
friends.
Ant-Man movie?
Everything here is at
You
your
don't remember?
disposal.
He was like a
Let us
professor.
meet at the briefing station when you are
And
ready to act.
they alluded that he was and I thought they were going to do something with him, that he was at least Giant Man at one point in time.
We don't have time for
That type of
this.
stuff. So
He used to
was,
work with Hank
he was
Pym.
actually Black Goliath. Was his,
So that's what it's
thing.
doing.
Okay. Now I know, I guess.
You're lucky I'm here to tell you these things.
That's why I want you here to tell me these things. I also like that all of them have to be using their powers and not using like. So you have like Hank Pym. He's like he could be using the regular size screens, but no, he has to be taller so he can reach the big screens. Mr. Fantastic's using his stretchy arms to reach things that he probably could just lean over to reach.
You know, it's interesting that you're talking about Mr. Fantastic.
Hmm.
So first of all, there's a comedy thing that was out years back, and it was by Norm Macdonald. And he did where it was like a Fantastic Four thing, a sketch thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll have to find it so you can listen to it. But basically, it's okay. They all go into the thing and they all get in this rocket, and then they get bombarded and they have to have powers. It's like, okay, Sue Storm's the Invisible Woman because she's invisible. Johnny Storm's the Human Torch because he's Torch and he's.
Look at Coach Hyde's dog.
Oh, that's cute.
It seems so cute.
And then the Thing looks like a
That's
thing,
so
so he's the
cute.
Thing.
Good for you,
And
Coach
Mr. Captain Reed Richards, is Mr. Fantastic. And he's like,
Lucy's
no,
down here too.
you should be Stretchy Man or Mr. Stretchy.
Mr. Stretchy.
And they go to the stuff. He's like, and then he's like, no, it's Mr. Fantastic. And then, but it's funny. I'll find it for you.
Well, even when they do their origin story where they have like after they crash and they decide their names, he's like, I'm gonna be Mr. Fantastic. I'm like, where did you get that from? Besides the fact that you have to call yourself Fantastic Four at the end of the day. Hey, Olivia, you want to text your superhero knowledge?
I mean, I guess.
Yes, you do. Okay,
But
Nick
I'm not that
Fury
bright.
once led a group called the what? The Howling Commandos, the Duelists, Liberty Tango, or Cyclopedia?
It's not Howling
Thunder.
Commandos.
I'll be quiet. Go ahead.
I don't know.
These are times, so you need to answer fast.
Howling Commandos was
Just
Captain
guess
America.
if you don't know. Venom's costume is composed of nanites, a parasite, vulnerable to light, and alien organism.
An alien organism / parasite.
Okay.
Yes, he is an alien organism.
Did you answer the first one?
No, she did not. Who gained their powers from an earthly source? Venom, Moonstone, Nitro, or Hulk?
I don't know. Nitro. Moonstone.
Hulk.
Nope.
Didn't he? He's gamma rays. It's on Earth. Moonstone came from the moon.
Iron Fist powers derived from cybernetic implants, the Infinity Formula, Chi Energy, or Lane Mutation.
Don't know who he is.
She.
Correct. He is Chi Energy. The real name of the hero known as the Goliath is Jamie Maddox,
Bill
Hank Pym,
Foster.
Bill Foster, Herman Schultz. Yes, you're correct.
What, Hank Pym?
No, Bill
Foster.
He was the Black Goliath.
Well, he's
Dad,
just called
that's
Goliath.
not
yes.
Yeah, but
racially
what do you call it?
sensitive.
That was what it was, but what do you call it was Goliath too. So was Hank Pym.
Yeah.
He was
Well,
Ant-Man.
that's what she guessed, and she got it
so
right.
was what do you call it was Hawkeye was Goliath.
Well, she got it. Years ago, Songbirds was death metal rocker, an accountant, an opera singer, or a pro wrestler.
Opera singer. Either that or pro wrestler.
Nope.
Is he a pro wrestler?
It might have been. No,
I
no.
think
They
it's a
cycle
pro
around to
wrestler.
get them wrong. Her Songbird's powers are based on psychic vectors for
I don't
Sphere,
know who
high
she
intensity
is.
sonics, kinetic weaponry. She is the one that has like the pink wings and she does the screaming things. Black Panther gained his powers from training with totems, rare herbs, alien creatures, or vibranium radiation.
He got it from the suit, dude.
That's not an option here. You need to choose one of the options. This isn't how multiple choice works.
That's how multiple choice of Miss
not
Barbara's
debate.
class
Tell me
works.
the answers. I can tell you.
Equinox has the ability to
Herbs.
project ice and fire, amplify sound waves, control weather, or shoot psychic knives. Are you gonna give me anything? You have to answer something.
I don't know who Equinox is.
I don't know who that is either.
Yeah.
You fought him as a boss. Firestar's mutant ability is to microwave energy, star stuff, fire, fireworks.
Star stuff.
Hurts.
Correct. No.
Be an amazing friend to Spider-Man.
Yes, she is an amazing friend of Spider-Man.
Oh, I thought it was a guy.
Havoc's real name is Alex Summers, Eric Williams, Nathan Summers, Sean Summers.
Why are there so many Summers? Do they have brothers?
You want me to tell you?
They're all homies. Are they the same person?
He's the brother of Scott Summers, aka Cyclops.
He's
Right.
You know what Scott Summers' original name was in the comics? Slim Summers.
That's
But
so
Slim.
dumb.
It was. But yeah, it's Alex.
Is he supposed to be in an Old West or something?
I don't know. It was Scott
Why would you
Slim
ever
Summers.
name your child that?
Well, it wasn't his name, but that was what they called him, Slim, and then they eventually became Scott.
That's so dumb.
Yeah, Alex is his brother.
Never use the word Marvel in their code name. Rick Jones, Jean Grey, Vance Astrovic, and Carol Danvers. Well, it's not her.
Not Carol Danvers.
You don't know that one?
No, do you?
It's not Jean Grey because she was
Vance.
Marvel Girl. Carol Danvers is Miss Marvel. I don't know who Rick Jones or Vance Astrovic.
Rick Jones. Okay, we went to the whole Rick Jones things last time. He was the one that. Okay, take a pause. Rick Jones. Rick Jones was the one basically started in Hope Comics. So, he was in a jalopy. He drove out into the site, the test site, and Bruce Banner saw him there. Bruce Banner
Mr.
ran
Marvel.
over and pushed him out of the way and got blasted with gamma rays.
Mr.
Well, he didn't call himself Marvel anything?
Then he became. Well, hold on. So he became. So let's go the whole. This is the whole. It's synergy. So he became his. There's a little area there to pop it open. Yeah. He became his. He became his helper. I'm good. And then, because I already have one. and then what do you call it? And then he left there, remember, and he became Captain America's sidekick, but he was never called Bucky. He was just called Rick Jones. Then he left there, and he got the Negabands, and he became Captain Marvel. When he put he switched places with Captain Marvel inside of the thing. So I don't know if you could say in there his code name. But in this one here, so he did have Captain Marvel in his thing.
So it would have been Vance Astrovich.
Vance Astrovich. Do you know who Vance Astrovich is?
No, I don't.
Okay, Vance Astrovich was part of the Guardians of the Galaxy, the original ones.
Right.
Okay.
Definitely
Is he the
that.
one that was played by Sloan or whatever?
He was the one that was played by. I don't know who they. Let me see. I don't know who they called him. He wasn't Martin X. Vance. I'll look it up.
Which mutant is related to Havoc? You should know this one. I just told you.
So Vance Astrovich was.
Yeah, I got it.
No, they're saying he wasn't it. Wait a minute. No, Major Vance Astro. Also known as formerly known as Marvel Boy. How did they get this? Wait. Okay, this is one of those retcon things. I thought he was the one that was in the thing. No, he says, okay, Vance Astrovich was born in Saugerties, New York. He was visited as a teenager by an alternate time-traveling version of his future self, Major Vance Astro of the Guardians of the Galaxy. That's what I thought. So Vance Astrovich is now... He was at one point in time supposed to be was Captain Marvel or Marvel Boy in the future. Okay, this is one of those stupid ones where it's just it's an alternate timeline. So he's not Vance Astro. He was also known as Justice, which was also known as Marvel Boy. Marvel Boy back in the was something else. So
well, we just faced Justice in here, so maybe he was him.
So my guess is that one was Rick Jones. But anyways, on your first question in there, Liv.
Yes.
Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos was the original.
Yeah, I knew it was. I just wanted to know why you immediately said, "Well, it's not Howling Commandos." I'm like,
because that's the one that
they changed it to
Captain America did.
Just farted down here. You just farted.
Perry.
You're a pig, dog. I'm laying on the ground and you just farted. It stinks.
God.
Man, you stink, dog.
It's like I'm going back to school. Wearing a mask.
Goodness gracious, what did you eat?
Justice's real name is Rick Ryder. Well, should be Vance Astrovich, right?
Let me see.
Yeah, Justice's real name is Vance Astrovich.
Yes, that's it. That's what we just know. I just read that.
Awesome. We're learning. You can go and impress all your friends with your superior knowledge.
Okay.
I'm not gonna remember.
Keep going.
Who has never been a parent? Sue Storm, Phineas Mason, Luke Cage, or Angelica Jones?
I don't know who Phineas Mason is, or
Phineas Mason is the Tinkerer. I know that.
Or Sue Storm was
Angelica
mom
Jones.
to the
Angelica Jones. Angelica Jones. Pick it.
No, you're out of time. Before her criminal career, Moonstone was a psychiatrist, a college student, a lab assistant, or a flight attendant.
I don't know what she was before. I remember Moonstone.
Flight attendant.
Never remember the character.
We fought her as a boss.
I don't know.
Pennant was formerly known as Night Thrasher Niles Speedball. I know that one.
So Moonstone was originally a male character, right?
You made me think of Moon Knight.
No, I'm thinking of Moonstone.
There's a girl in this one, so I don't know. Pennant is powered by sound, the hate of others, pain, and mechanized suit.
Okay, let's go back here.
What? Who's Pennant?
The guy with
the hate of others.
The guy with the weird suit.
That's a lot of people.
Wakanda is located in Vibrania,
Vibrania!
Africa, in the negative zone.
Africa.
We are here right now. How did you not get that faster?
What?
That's where we are right now, is Wakanda.
Yeah.
Where does it look like we are right now?
It's obviously Africa. I've seen the movie. I
As
thought it
a
was funny
child,
that they said
Cable was raised
Vibrania.
by Jean Grey and Cyclops, the Watcher, Bishop, the Extraterrestrials.
I don't know who Cable is. Who names their kid Cable?
Well, when you're in a dystopian future, I don't think you really care about what you name your kids.
It's my kid Spork.
Yeah. Moonstone was always a woman. I thought it was a guy.
Androgynous name.
Okay. Thor wields the mystical
Mignon.
hammer called,
Why? His actual name is Jonathan, but you wouldn't get that joke.
Who?
I don't.
What's the...
Why would you name Thor's hammer Jonathan?
Because they were doing an interview with all the casts members of Avengers Civil War, and they're asking, so what's the name of Thor's hammer? And they're all like pronouncing it like this, and then Paul Rudd goes up there and he goes, Jonathan? It's so funny.
Who said that?
Paul Rudd. He didn't know. The rest of them actually
Greatest
knew.
powers include shape-shifting, motion leeching, probability shifting, telekinesis.
B or Y.
Why would it be a motion leeching?
Because it doesn't like.
When has she done that?
She doesn't do shape-shifting.
No, motion leeching.
Yeah, but wait, no, I would say.
Like, I would choose telekinesis first, because that's kind of the thing she did.
That's why it was my.
Just telekinesis, Kyle.
The name of the main Nana control officer is. I'll answer this one because you weren't here for that.
Riley. Aww.
No.
I was thinking of Riley because Sam Wilson.
Who
has
kills
right next to the wall.
Nana officer controls Swanson? I think it's Venom.
Molten.
Yeah, Molten Man. Yep. Some of these names are so original.
Molten Man, you know who he is?
Minimum prison, 42 self-destruct lay.
42 seconds, please.
I just guessed randomly on that one because I don't remember that one. Access to 42 prison is only by portal. These are about the game now. He's testing down on that. He's been here. The LMD control signals will not cross over into the
negative zone.
There you go.
Yeah, I knew that.
Savage land is with dinosaurs.
Perry, stop licking the floor.
The profession of Robbie Baldwin's father. I don't know who Robbie Baldwin is.
District attorney. That was a good one to go for.
Yes.
Yeah, baby! Yeah!
You can only guess and you got it right. Good job. Who arranges the plea bargain for Speedball? I don't know. I'm gonna put Matt Murdock because I'm like, I don't know who any of the rest of them are.
Either Foggy Nelson is a lawyer in there or Matt Murdock. They're both the lawyers.
Stop, he's a real person.
He is, yes.
Who needs their character?
He's in Daredevil Comics. That's his partner, Foggy. Perry Mason is a TV guy. Is a TV lawyer, and Jennifer Walters, I think, is the She-Hulk, isn't she?
She might be. I don't know her secret name.
I think she's a lawyer too.
How is it that the Hulk is super buff, but She-Hulk just looks like a slightly more buff female?
Yeah, cause
what is with that?
Sexism.
Well, it's just kind of like one of those things where I'm just like,
pow.
She doesn't look like she mutated that much.
She-Hulk's an interesting character.
It's not considered critical for
Ever see a
it.
guy
I
that's handsome walking
don't
through the street?
know.
You don't get arrested because he's killing all the ladies.
Did She-Hulk happen the same way that Hulk happened?
No. She-Hulk got a transfusion from the Hulk. With blood, I believe.
Intentionally?
Yes.
No, she's just going in for regular treatment and she's like,
Some people got turned into things Hulk life by accident, so. That's what it's going to be like. Currently bonded with the Venom symbiote. Scott Washington, Eddie Brock, Matt Garrigan, Theus Cassidy.
Oh, Eddie Brock.
Eddie Brock is Venom.
That's what I was like. I was about to say, isn't Eddie guy the Venom
But
guy?
he's not apparently the one in this continuity. That's weird.
I knew.
So Eddie Brock is not the right answer.
No.
No.
Cletus.
Cletus Cassidy, Matt Gargan, or Scott Washington. I don't know any of those people.
I don't know either.
Nick Fury's middle name is Joseph Washington Henry Michael.
I feel like I should know this. Joseph or Henry? Maybe it's.
Nope.
Henry?
Oh hey Ixie. They think it was Matt Cargan. Maybe it was. That wasn't the answer we chose, so we won't know. Nick Fury lost his left eye in a fight with Dr. Doom, Wolfgang Van Stryker, Maria Hill, his brother.
Actually, in the MCU, the cat.
Are you gonna give me an answer or not?
Wolfgang Von Strucker, because I like his name.
Then you should have said that before the timer ran out. You don't get the point of this trivia thing, do you?
No.
Nick Fury's father was a Navy admiral, mercenary, decorated war pilot, intelligence officer.
Decorated pilot. No, he's not that old. Oh, he is.
Yeah. It's Nick Fury we're talking about. Yeah, he's old.
He's not that old.
He's the one who's going to be still fighting when he's 90.
Valid. It's not murder before them.
She-Hulk has a successful career as a military consultant, wrestler, police officer, lawyer.
Wrestler!
No, it's not. It's not.
Do you know how OP she would be?
I'm like,
She'd just be
I don't
like
think
the green machine.
I'm like, that's what she is as a superhero, so I'm assuming her successful career would not be that.
She like breaks her
Do you know
spine.
what She-Hulk's successful career is?
Wait, who?
Like, what's She-Hulk's successful
She's
career?
a lawyer. Didn't we just say that?
See, I didn't think it would be a wrestler.
But being
you
a
idiot.
wrestler would be so much more convenient.
But she's already doing that as a superhero, so
think
probably
so.
she'd be doing a career that she's...
Do you think they make pantsuits for ladies that buff? No. Wrestling.
She's not buff all the time.
She could be.
Even they could. The tailoring is a thing, you know that, right?
Yeah, but like, she doesn't have time for that. She's fighting crime.
From the courtroom.
That's so boring!
That's what Daredevil does.
She could be a wrestler!
She's already doing that.
Pow, pow, pow!
Nick Fury once led a group called the what,
Nick
Olivia?
Fury! Why did you say Helen, come in.
Good.
Why'd you say Nick Fury?
Because I don't talk well. Are you good? You have it together so we can go to the ones we missed now?
Go on.
Venom's costume is what?
Alien organism.
Correct?
I'm gonna forget the next one.
Who gained the powers from an earthly source? Venom, Moonstone,
Hulk.
Nitro, Hulk. Let's go Hulk and see what happens. Oh, it took it that time. Yeah, you're right, Dad. It was Hulk.
What?
Gamma rays.
From earthly source.
I told you.
You didn't take that the first time. Iron Fist powers are derived from Chi energy.
Chi energy.
Yeah. You're going through all of the
Chi
again or just
latte.
the ones you missed?
I'm gonna go through all of them again, but this is a chance for us to get the ones we
Okay.
missed. The real name of Goliath
Bill
was
Foster.
Bill Foster. Who's coming to check you out, Dad?
Goliath was Bill Foster. And I looked it up. First Goliath was Hank Pym. Second one was Clint Barton. Third one was... Who's...
As in the guy...
Hawkeye.
She's sniffing your head.
Is he?
Yes.
I don't
Hawkeye,
think she knows it's her
Hawkeye
head.
quit being Hawkeye and became Goliath.
Did he have grow things, or did
Yes.
he...
Do you have a really big bow?
Check it out.
He had a... Yeah, he basically said, I'm not going to do the archery thing anymore. I'm going to become Goliath. So he became Goliath. For a
You
lot
should
of
just have a
issues. It
really
was like
big bow.
20 or 30 issues.
So the funny thing is that both my dogs are in here, and my dad's laying on the floor on a beanbag, and they both keep poking him with, like, their noses.
I'm gonna send a picture to Mom.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
this is so funny, because, like, you're never on the ground, so they're kind of like, oh my gosh, we can get to the man now.
Your best friend.
And one of our dogs is like half blind at this point, so the fact that she keeps like trying to poke you in the head with, I don't even think she's aware that that's her head, but she keeps trying to
That's
poke
my knee, sir.
think
I
she's
like my
hungry.
kneecaps.
Well,
Can I
she's also
have
probably
them
down here
back?
because this is where all the people are. So
and stuff. But she's usually sleeping, so she's
let's see.
probably-
Years ago, Songbird
hungry?
was a I don't know
How many
Pro wrestler!
How many did you give her for dinner? 1 or 2?
two.
2? What do you want? You can't be hungry. You're fat.
You can't be hungry. You're fat.
You hungry, girl?
Those two things.
Come on,
So if you're
so
fat,
please let me-
Olivia, you will no longer be hungry. So maybe you should try being fat, because then you won't be hungry anymore.
Don't shame me like this.
I'm not shaming you. You have a perfect athlete runner body. I can shame you about many things, but your body is not one of them.
Wow, the aura in this room is great. I like this lighting.
I can shame you about that, for instance, that you are going and doing selfies while we are on stream. Have you no shame?
No, I don't. I'm showing
Have
off
you
my
no
new earrings.
dignity? Because I know you don't have any of that. Are you going to answer these trivia questions or what?
Well, I keep on forgetting, sorry.
Songbird's powers are based on what?
I don't know.
I told you this the first time. Her name's literally Songbird.
I just
Take a guess what sort of powers are related to
But
that.
taking from your enemy's fears is so cool. Just like
I told you she shouts in order to do her powers. What do you
yeah,
think it is?
they're shouting at her, and that gives her power to shout louder than them.
I don't think that's how powers work.
That's how I work.
That's a superpower. I think
You
that's
guys talk, I'll talk louder.
I think that's just a person thing. I don't think that's a superpower.
That's me as a. When a storm puts on a story, my bestie.
Try and focus, Olivia.
He's in band.
Black Panther gained his powers from what?
I don't know.
Just choose something.
Totem.
Nope.
Totem? Totemic?
It's probably a rare herb. Doesn't he eat that thing in the movie that gives him powers?
Mm.
Did you not watch the movie?
I did, but it just
Equinox has the ability to what?
A.
Good job.
Yeah, I'm pretty cool.
Sometimes you are. Fire Star's main ability is to project what?
Fire. Oh, microwave energy. They just have a bowl of ramen. They're like,
Okay, that's our entire our setup. So don't kick your knees around. And Joe, you know what microwaves do? You know why microwaves work?
Whenever they use their powers, they make this little humming sound. They're like, brrr.
Okay, let me put it this way, Olivia. Do you know how a microwave works? Do you know what it does? You know how it cooks food?
They go beep, beep.
Okay, so, Olivia, are you aware of why the magic of the microwave works? Why, when you put food in there, it cooks it?
Because it's magic. Because it bounces all the rays off the metal.
I know, and those are microwaves. Like X-rays. And light rays.
X-ray just a
Makes me
giant
want to let you know
microwave.
that little electric fairies cook the food in a microwave.
I agree with you.
You heard right, much like my sister did not know how windmills or water mills work, Olivia doesn't know how microwaves work.
I at least know how those work.
She didn't even know those existed, so we had a whole fun time about that. See, this is the discount Madeline.
Oh my gosh, I can make fun of Jordan.
She has about the same mental stability as Madeline. Just
I'm so mentally unstable.
Somehow much less attention span. Can you maybe not check your email and your TikToks and stuff like work?
I love it. The only emails I'm allowing right now are ones from AO3, and that's it. Anything else blocked. Spam. We don't accept them.
Can you maybe try and be a co-host here?
And then Caprice in like 3 hours, I'm going wild.
Name the thing.
Who's Havoc?
Have you a spot?
Something Summers. Alex Summers.
There's 3 options with Summers. There's only one that isn't.
Slim Summers.
Never use the word Marvel in their names. We're gonna go with Rick Jones.
Vance Astra. Oh. Astra.
No, I'll have to tell Dad Rick Jones was correct.
Whip.
How many different characters they used have the name Marvel in them? It was Rick Jones. He's the one who did not have Marvel in his code name. So I guess doing a power pose off the camera. He's very victorious.
Me whenever I stop connecting.
Olivia's remaking it so you guys can see.
Awesome. Good.
And Olivia realized that microwaves are not in fact just appliances, but also an actual kind of energy wave.
Okay, but you know how funny it would be to have one use microwave energy and then just go.
She asked what Firestar's powers are, and I'm like, microwave energy. And she's like, wait, so she throws microwaves at people? I'm like, no.
I did not say that,
yeah,
Evie.
he did.
I did not say that.
She did very much.
I did not say that.
Did you know that for some things that for transmission of information, they use microwave? That's how they go between.
I asked her, like, how do you think microwaves cook food? And
I said that's a metal box and it bounces.
Yeah, but that's how they pass communication information is microwave.
Crackers.
Dishes.
Okay, which mutant is related to Havoc?
I don't know.
You said that. You know.
Why would it be Firestar?
I
told you this one.
If his name is Alex Summers because he's the brother of
Slim Summers.
Yeah,
who is not Firestar.
Exactly. We just had this conversation. Why would it be Firestar?
You're forgetting Havoc just gives me very girl
You
vibes.
are a good replacement for Alex.
We even said brother. You chose the one that's a girl. All the options are guys except for that one.
I didn't know that.
You just want to just check yourself out?
I am checking myself out. It's hard because I look here and I'm not looking at myself.
Justice's real name is what?
Robbie Baldwin.
Not Robbie Baldwin. We also talked about this one.
Dad, you're bald.
That's right.
Okay, thank you for pointing out we've been marketing for like weeks at this point. Notice how he came on? You're blonde Madeline and he's bald Madeline. Except for he has some intelligence and you're just kind of...
Hey, I'm pretty book smart. That's about it.
You're not really showing that off right now. Especially with your questions about microwaves. You're not really showing that off right now.
I don't learn about microwaves in school. You know what I learned about? How to make a budget for your wedding. That was one of my tests one year. I had to make a budget for my future wedding.
Wonderful. Who has never been a parent? Sue Storm, Phineas Mason, Luke Cage, Angelica Jones. Choose somebody.
I don't know. Angelica?
Yep. Good job.
Yeah, I'm pretty cool.
Apparently all the rest of them have kids then. That's weird.
Sue Storm's
well,
kids is the Fantastic...
Well, I know she does. I know
is
Luke
the
Cage did. I
X-Men.
just didn't know if Phineas Mason did. Because he's the same crew. So I didn't know if he had kids. Before her criminal career, Moonstone was a psychiatrist, a college student, a lab assistant, a flight
Wrestler!
Not wrestler, not an option. I'm a flight attendant. No.
Pro wrestler.
You're not being helpful in any way.
They should all be pro wrestler.
Penance was formerly known as Speedball. Yeah, he had like these like kinetic powers.
Kinetic man.
He is powered by. You want to guess on this one?
The hate of
No.
pain.
After. Why is that so funny? It's true. They pointed it out in the storyline.
I would be so powerful in my universe.
No, like he has to physically inflict pain upon himself in order to activate his powers.
A single tear, and then he's like, rah!
That's emotional pain. That's different.
You can cry from physical pain.
Yeah, but it's not. Tears aren't going to help you with anything with physical pain. You have to do the physical pain. His whole thing was that he used to be Speedball, but he was the only one who survived the whole massacre that killed 5 blocks, and so the only way he could activate his powers after that was by inflicting pain on himself. So he has a suit, has a bunch of spikes on the inside, so he can use his powers.
He'd be so good in a Springtrap suit from FNAF.
Yeah, he would. He would.
The ultimate Springtrap.
Wakanda is located where, Olivia?
Africa. I knew that one the first time.
You took so long to answer
because
that.
I think Vibrania is super funny.
Why would it be Vibrania?
That's how funny that is.
That'd be the stupidest name for a
That's why
country.
it's funny. I mean, who names our country Africa?
As a child,
Hey, Jean Grey and Cyclops.
Yes.
Why is she the last name and he does it? Why can't he be Cyclops and Grey? They can get married.
Because she was originally called Marvel Girl, and then after that she's like, screw the whole secret identity thing. I'm just gonna let everyone know I'm Jean Grey. Even though everyone else has a secret identity. I don't know why some heroes do that.
She's my least favorite X-Men.
She is kind of overrated, I will say. I don't particularly like her. She never seemed... Well, it's more like the only thing anyone ever tries to do with her is the Phoenix Arc, and then they redo that like 16 times. And you're like, okay, we're really not about the Phoenix Arc anymore. Thor wields what?
Why? Jonathan!
Jonathan.
I don't know if you guys understand that. It's pretty funny.
Probably not. Jean Grey's powers include what, Olivia?
Telekinesis. Leeching.
It's not leeching.
Leeching.
It's not leeching.
Leeching.
The name of the nanite control officer is...
It's not Riley, because I said that last time. Swanson.
Yes. I even chose it for you last time.
Yes.
You're not doing anything.
I'm doing amazing.
You're not doing great. Who kills the control officer?
Jean Grey.
No.
Green Goblin. Aw, Venom.
You guessed the wrong one last time, too.
Molten
You
Man.
guessed Molten Man last time, and it wasn't Green Goblin this time.
Funny.
Self-destruct delay is how long?
30 seconds.
30 seconds, correct. You just guessed, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Alright.
It's the closest one to 42.
That's nothing to do with that.
Portal.
Also a good game.
Uh-huh.
Very good game.
My eyes are burning.
I'm sorry about that.
Sounds like
Try.
I get wet.
Maybe you just need to stop seeing for a little while.
Honestly, I would love that.
The LMD control signals will not cross what?
Negative zone. Yes.
Good job. Profession of Robbie Baldwin's father was
District Attorney.
what? Good job. You just guessed, didn't you?
I guessed it last time when I was right. Well, that was so
Who
superhero-y.
arranges the plea bargain for Speedball?
Don't know. Foggy.
It's not Foggy.
No.
It was not Foggy. It was not Matt Murdock. So
It's Jessica.
Jennifer?
we have a Jennifer Walters.
Jennifer Walters.
Jennifer?
It's Jennifer Walters. She did it. Is it right?
Well,
Oh,
we don't
we can't
know,
really say.
so because we got it incorrect. So, not considered a critical hub in Prison 42.
I don't know.
Okay, I was just guessing
Engineering.
on engineering. Like the other three sound really important. And
Central Power.
Central Power is always where they have the self-destruct switch, and Portal Room 1 and Portal Control are probably right next to each other, so I doubt it would be them. Currently bonded with the Venom symbiote.
It's not Eddie, apparently. Or was it Eddie?
Ixie said Mac. Oh, Ixie's right. Mac Gargan.
I want it to be Eddie.
Apparently, that's who's currently with this. Do you know who that is?
Nope.
Okay, I don't know. If
I never liked anything to do with Venom.
Yeah,
I think he's cool aesthetically. Because he's just.
I think. Yeah,
I just like the art.
I think he has a cool design. I don't think he necessarily. Oh, okay. They said that they think the Mac Gargan was the Scorpion at one point.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
Well, that sounds right. That does sound right. That Gargan. Now that you say that name.
Okay, I guess he's been around the block in terms of supervillains. Mick Fury's middle name is what?
I don't know.
You guessed Joseph last
Genius.
time. Washington
Henry.
Joseph.
Michael or Washington?
Let's see. Nick Washington Fury. No. What's the next one?
Michael.
Michael Fury. And what's the third one?
Henry.
Nick Henry Fury. Michael. I'm going with Michael.
Well, it's not Henry.
I
It's
told
not
you to go for
Washington.
Michael.
No,
Is
you
it Michael?
didn't. You said all of them.
Yeah, and then I said, Michael.
You're not very helpful in this whole.
I'm
You know when you're on a
amazingly
test
helpful.
and you have to choose one answer?
This is
You're not
exactly
very
how my
good.
brain works during a test. Oh my god.
What? I just choose all the answers? He lost his
Yeah.
left eye in what? A Doctor Doom, Wolfgang Stryker, Maria Hill, his brother.
I don't know.
Choose someone.
Wolfgang.
No.
It's probably his brother. I know it's not the cat from Captain Marvel, though.
It's not the cat from Captain Marvel.
That was a dumb plot point. I don't like that.
Well, it's kind of like one of those things where, like, really? That's how he lost his eye?
Exactly.
That's, like, the stupidest way to lose an eye.
So what was it? What was the answer?
I don't know. Nick Fury's father was a decorated World War I.
Decorated WW1. Dubba dubba. Double W.
Can you stop, like, talking when I'm not speaking to you? Because the things that come out of your mouth are just poop.
It's past my bedtime by a full 38 minutes. Guys, I go to bed at 9 o'clock.
You were so old.
8:45. Love it.
She-Hulk has a successful career as a what?
Wrestler! Lawyer.
She's a
Wrestler.
lawyer. She's not. She's already a wrestler in her superhero
I
life.
want everyone to be wrestling. You know how cool it would be? They go fight
Nick
crime,
Fury
and
wants
then
to-
they fight each other.
I think that's everyone. I think we went through all of them.
Yeah, it's question number 1 again.
Well, what do you
Okay.
get when you that you did that? You get
We got a lot of EXP, so everyone leveled up.
My own desires over.
Okay. Cool.
Now they can all be pro wrestlers.
They're not being pro wrestlers.
Yeah, they fight crime in the daytime, and they fight each other in
What?
the daytime.
Dixie says you don't sound sleepy.
I
Yes.
feel really dumb. Like
We know. We know.
I wake
don't
up
worry.
dumb.
We
The more
noticed.
time I get dumber again.
We noticed that you are not.
The things you really believe you want.
He looks like me when I wake up.
Not
Just
yours,
the
yet
wrinkles
not being
everyone's.
able to do anything about it. Finding yourself pursuing someone else's goals, it was
He looks like
quietly.
the green giant from the green bean camp.
I don't. What?
Like,
What are you even talking about?
You know the green giant from the green bean camp.
The Jolly Green Giant. Yeah.
He does not look like the Jolly Green Giant. You want to say, Dad?
Yes,
We're talking the Green Goblin.
Where's it?
He
Let's see.
made me think of
I'll be fighting to
See, I don't like that face. It looks like it's an old guy.
any of you.
I like the break the one.
He does not look like the Jolly Green
He
Giant.
looks like his grandpa.
Sure, I will be once.
No, he doesn't.
But for now, you need my help against
Look,
the
it's the
foe.
leaves things on his shoulders.
It does. I'll give you that one, Liv. I'll go with that one.
I win.
So glad to have your approval. It means so
And he
much.
carries green beans in his satchel.
If you'll excuse me.
He pulls out, he's like, "Pah!" It's just beans.
What is wrong with you? There's so many, like, yeah. You're not tired, are you kidding me? You're just being dumb.
I've been up past my limit.
You are a good replacement for Madel.
Yes, you are.
I fill in.
Well, Ixie thinks you're hilarious, so.
See, there you go.
I keep on forgetting where the camera is. My boy needs braces.
I feel bad about them.
How's your mask stay on? Or is it just like really realistic makeup?
I think it's a domino mask. They just happen by magic.
Enjoying his job way too much.
Those
Masks
face
like
masks.
on Green Lantern where they just stick to your face.
Oh yeah, domino mask.
Because
Yes,
I've seen
domino
like
masks.
You know
I've
what?
seen like makeup
You know, if you're
cosplayers,
talking-
so like it looks really
If
real.
you talk about masks, then I can just say a quick aside there. You know my little thing about reading comics from the 1940s where they
Yeah.
change. So Phantom Lady started out with no mask at all. And
Now I'm an idiot just with a mask. Same person. I just have a mask now.
So now you're an idiot, is what you're saying?
No,
Now you're-
idiot with a mask.
I don't know, you sound like you're saying, now I'm an idiot. I'm like, I think you were that without the mask.
Before I kind of looked like I was civilized, but now I'm like.
Anyway,
let me just think. So basically, in the whole thing is that in
Guys,
one
I had spaghetti yesterday,
because
it
they
was so
changed the writers. She basically had no mask, and then she'd go next to her boyfriend, and he wouldn't know who she was. I'm like,
Love
because
it.
her hair was different. I'm like, okay, that don't make any sense. Then later on, they got another one where she had just a white. She had like 2 holes and like a handkerchief coming over her face for like 1 issue, and now the last issue she has a domino mask, which she didn't have in the last issue, and it's just a different writer. So like also, and then she has that for like 2 things. Then she doesn't have a mask again. So.
Oh, Ixie's asking you to breathe. Try not to die.
Actually, I do have asthma. It's a little hard for me.
I'm glad you're laughing so intensely about your own health conditions. That's great.
Oh my gosh, I also have vocal cord dysfunction too. Sorry,
She also just got her tonsils removed when she was younger. So
I do, because I couldn't
she
breathe
has
then
all the
either.
reasons to have the most annoying voice ever.
I can't breathe.
That's great.
Ever.
I just don't. I'm like, I just look at Domino Mask and like, I don't know how that's staying to your face.
Let's just say it's good to be
Or
back.
if you're like
down to just
in the
2
movie,
voices in
they
my
CGI.
head.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like if you took like glue, but like that like stuff that cosplayers use,
Yeah, whatever.
or like
Just point me in those
SFX
zombies'
makeup,
direction,
and it's
and
like,
I'll tear them apart. So let's do this again soon. Or hey, better yet, let's not.
Who's that?
That's Venom.
Oh, Venom.
my
Yeah.
boy got some buff gains. You see his veins popping.
He just not talk, maybe. Just don't.
Hey.
Like,
He's that one guy who like during band they would do that. They come up and be like, "Ooh, look at me."
It's over. The future I knew will look almost appealing in some ways.
I like that he has.
I don't know who he is, but I don't like him.
Bishop from the cartoon. He's from the future. Got the M tattoo.
Don't really recognize him now. He's wearing sunglasses inside. He's not
I
cool.
know we're gonna give them hell.
He
Well-
thinks he's cool,
But
but
looking
he's
at their
not.
progress so far,
Some people wear
It's not
masks.
gonna be
some
See, his
people
veins
wear-
are popping too. He's getting gains.
Why are you paying attention to that?
I don't know.
it's a good question. They know we're here, but seems like right now they have other fish to fry.
That's not ominous at all.
I hadn't heard that, but it wouldn't surprise me. Sorry, I've got some stuff to take care of.
Do you think he
Later.
keeps like a tiny pack of tissues in one of those little bags?
Maybe, I don't know. You
That's
have a
one of
bunch-
my prime things when I go anywhere. I have to keep one of those
you have a
mom
bunch
packs of
if you have a
tissues.
bunch of tiny pockets, I assume that you could carry tiny tissues.
I would keep tiny tissues for me.
Let's see what our next mission is. So I want you to stop like paying attention to people's arm veins. It's weird.
Analysis of Fold technology retrieved under the liberation of Wakanda has revealed details about the collective and how it's spreading. We are now aware of massive repeater towers being erected at secret locations around the globe at an astonishing rate.
These heavily defended towers are clearly being built to extend the reach of their network. Like the internet, their grid is adaptive and seems highly resistant to being completely shut down. So trying to destroy the towers would be an inefficient use of our time and resources.
However, we might still have an ace in the hole. Our nanite stasis signal should still function, if we could only broadcast it on their network. Their encryption makes that impossible to do from the outside. But if we were able to take control of one of their repeater towers and send the signal from there, it just might work.
We've identified only one tower that is central enough to reach the entire Fold before they could react.
If we were able to infiltrate this enemy base and send the shutdown signal, all members of the Fold would be paralyzed, allowing us to round them up and cure them of the nanite infection.
Which, at this point, by the way, is like most of the known Earth, and I'm just like, how would you do that?
Is that New Zealand? No, it's Iceland.
Why? New Zealand? Do you know where New Zealand is?
Europe?
Okay.
Not
Not even close.
She thought it was an island to start off with.
Okay.
Is it an island?
Yes.
Yeah! It can be an island off of Europe, right?
Closer to the United States than closer to the
Europe's pretty close to the US, right? It's like the ocean.
That's kind of how everything in the United States works.
It's just
separated
water.
by the ocean.
Is it near Alaska?
No. It's further away from Alaska than it is to Europe. Goodness gracious. Okay, try near Australia.
Australia!
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think I've seen it there before.
Alaska, really?
It's not,
How many things do you think are near Alaska?
Not Madagascar, because that's next to
Have a nice trip.
Africa.
Are you sure about that?
Yes. Because I remember looking at a map and being surprised it was a real place.
You thought it was just a movie?
I didn't know it was a real place.
You didn't know Madagascar was a real place?
No. And I saw a map, I was like,
So, what were you saying about you being book smart again?
I got 100 on my All of Europe quiz. I used to know everything in Europe.
Out of 500.
So you knew all about Europe, but you still thought New Zealand was in Europe?
Yes. There's something New England? Is that in Europe?
Okay, now you're close.
You know why they call things new? Because it's not the original one. England's included in Europe, but not...
No.
I'll give you a hint, they put new in front of it when it's a different location.
I mean, New Mexico is pretty close to the original Mexico.
It's still not Mexico, though.
Where's the original Hampshire, though? Like, New Hampshire? Where's the original one?
Europe.
Everything's in Europe.
It's New Zealand.
Now,
Is the original Zealand there?
New Hampshire is near New England.
Where's that?
England. And there's New England.
I already said this!
The New England Patriots is up in Massachusetts.
Massachusetts? There's an England in
No,
Massachusetts.
it's New England area.
I thought it was a country.
You're so dumb.
New England was a country.
Yeah.
England is New England. New England, dum-dum.
Anything else you want to tell us about geography as long as we're on the subject?
Austria-Hungary used to be one thing, and now it's just Austria and Hungary.
I'm glad you figured that much out.
It's because of, like, some world war or something.
There's only 2 of them, so take your pick.
I think it might be... Is the second one the one about Nazis?
Do you know any world history?
It's just everyone has the Nazis!
I hope that the people from your school aren't watching this, because I'm just gonna be like, what about our program? Wow.
Okay, let me give you a hint. Do you know why?
Really got
do you know why World War II happened?
What the first one happened? That's a good question too. I can only remember one of them was about Nazis. I can't remember why the other one
Do you
happened.
know why the Nazis happened?
Because, I don't know. I don't know.
Because that might help you.
No. I have no clue, honestly. Do you know what caused World War I?
Yes.
What was it?
I'm not the one being asked right now. We're testing your knowledge right now, which is very inconsistent.
I honestly don't know. I haven't had world history in so many years.
Weren't you just watching like Agent Carter and stuff like that?
Yeah,
that
but that doesn't talk about things like
But
that.
doesn't that happen around the World Wars?
Yeah. The one with Nazis.
Yeah, do you know which one that is?
The second one.
Are you
Right?
sure?
Right.
Are you sure about that?
I think so.
Is that your final answer?
Uh-huh.
I still have to
But I
take
can't
you
remember
out.
what the first one was about.
Look at these little dude things just follow me around for
I just remember that America always wins. Yeah, we do.
I don't...
Through bloodshed.
That's kind of how war works.
And crying eagles.
What?
The eagles just fly away and they wipe a tear and just fly into the sunset.
What actor have you been watching lately?
Have you seen that one meme?
No.
there's an eagle. There's like a faded flag in the background, and it's an eagle. No, it's like someone that's gonna like, are you free tonight? And they're like, I'm always free because I'm in America. And then it's like a faded flag in the background, and it's an eagle flying over the sunset. And it's crying, and it's like cries in freedom. An asterisk below it.
Is this a TikTok?
No, it's just a meme. It's from like Tumblr or something, like a long time ago. It's on my Pinterest.
Of course you know these things.
So funny.
Glad you know these things, but you don't know where like anything is.
freedom.
Glad you know those things, because that's sure they're gonna be helpful.
Doesn't mix.
I know not Raleigh. I know North Carolina has 100 counties. Yeah, we do.
I'm glad you're aware of that.
I'm so aware. I used to know dates that were on a flag, but I don't remember that.
The what's on your flag?
The dates. We have 2 dates on the North Carolina flag.
Yeah.
I don't remember them.
Well, I guess the fact that you know what they look like is a good step.
I think one of them is July. I'm not really sure. I know our flowers, the dogwood, and our even though magnolias are way prettier, and
I don't think it has to do with what's prettiest.
Bird is the cardinal, the red one. But I think they're
I'm
only
glad
is the
you
red one.
specified the cardinal is the red one.
Well, like one of them's like brown. I think that's the female. Only the males.
Do you know how birds work?
One of them like distracts from the nest, and the other one's like, I am the nest.
I don't think they go I am the nest.
It looks like the nest. It's like brown. So it
No, they
blends
have
in.
colorful feathers in order to attract females, like a lot of species.
Yeah,
like,
male ones.
Like why deer have antlers and stuff like that. Essentially, just a bunch of showboating to get the females.
First one to make a blonde joke gets pounded.
Which one to make a blind joke and stuff.
No way.
I just like their voice lines because they're just like realistically hero can't.
We're gonna look up where New Zealand
You need to know. You don't trust the dad knows where New Zealand
Ms.
is.
Marvel doesn't miss.
I don't think it's Australia.
You thought it was in Europe, so you don't have a voice in this particular
I think I'm
argument.
thinking of Finland. South Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like the. I thought that was part of Australia. I thought all the the things around it were considered it too. Just like how Hawaii is a bunch
Well,
of
even if you
islands.
thought that, you said it was.
You still said it was in Europe, even if you thought it was that. You
I
still
thought
said
that was
Europe.
part of Australia.
I know, but you didn't even say anything close to Australia. You said Europe.
Nah. I used to be so good at my Europe map quizzes. That's because
I don't really trust that, to be honest.
no, it's because I seek validation through my grades.
Have a nice trip.
France, pretty big.
Relatively speaking, I suppose.
Dublin, London, Ireland. See, Finland is there because I remember it looked like a fox.
Finland's there, but that's.
But you were talking about New Zealand.
Sweden.
And you thought Iceland
Norway.
was New Zealand, to start with.
Sweden is so big. Why is it so big?
Because it is.
Iceland's so tiny. Why is it so tiny?
Because it is. And
Iceland's not that tiny, is it?
It looks tiny on the
not
screen.
really, but I'm not going to argue with her about size.
It's always compared to Greenland though. Greenland's like big
Well,
boy.
I think the thing is
First one
Iceland
to
was
make a
supposed to
blonde
be
joke
Greenland.
gets
It was
pounded.
Yeah,
Yeah, the names are
yeah, they
mixed up.
switched them.
But they also pointed it to people who come there.
Yes, they got them mixed up, so they actually have the
Iceland's the nice one, and Greenland's the like icy one.
the icy one. That's just awesome, I think.
I knew where Poland was. Yeah, I
Yeah.
did.
Glad you knew where that was.
Because Poland doesn't have a spine because it got trampled by Germany.
Doesn't have a spine?
Yes, has no spine.
You talking metaphorically or?
Metaphorically. It was like a doormat. People walked all over Poland.
Training ground.
Yeah.
And
Well-
Russia's just like vibing there. I'm surprised Russia was never like split up, you know? Like cut up into like tiny Russias.
Tiny Russias?
Yeah, like East Russia.
Next time,
or,
don't
like,
pick a
West
fight
Russia.
with a girl.
Do they have like provinces or states? I think it'd be provinces.
You can look it up. You're on your phone.
How is Russia divided? So oh. 2 main parts, Western and Eastern.
Nanites or not,
Oh, there you
I
go.
still have to take you out.
Federal subjects. We have 22 are republics. 85, wow.
Oh, you
Having
know.
85 states.
Well, I mean.
What are your
you've seen
opinions
it.
on Cuba? Cuba? Cuba?
Do you know where Cuba is?
Is either Cuba or Jamaica?
Where's Cuba though?
Somewhere like south of us.
Okay, maybe that.
It's over here.
I mean, technically,
You're right.
New Zealand's south of us too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't understand how left and right work though. Because like if you go technically, you could say that China is to the east of us. But you could also say it's to the west of us, because you could go west enough, it's there, but if you go east enough, it's there.
That's
You know?
because we're on a globe and it's round.
Yeah, but like,
That's
It's
how
kind of like
it
him
works.
saying if you walk in a circle, you'll eventually end up in the same place
But,
again.
like-
Yeah, that's how circles work.
That's
But
kinda
like,
how they work.
where are the dividing lines? Like, I get there's like the tropical Cancer, and then there's the equator, but like, and then
Those are
there's like
going
the
the
prime
other-
meridian and stuff. But like, what's happening there?
It's a round shape. That's how round shapes work.
Yeah, but like, how can you like slice it like that?
People give silence
You,
a
you
bad
don't.
name.
Just it's a circle.
I don't understand the Earth. Also, like our solar system. What's up with that? Wildin'. The sun is a dwarf star. Did you know that? It's tiny man.
Okay. Any reason why you know that, or just cause?
Just because Mr. B's class is one of the things I pay attention to because he ate a bug.
Why didn't you eat a bug?
Because he's weird. He ate a beetle in the middle class.
Who did?
Mr. B.
Is it alive or?
Who's Mr. B?
It was alive, yeah.
He ate it while
He
it
was
alive.
Mr. Bertholoff. He was my 8th and 7th grade science teacher. Cool guy. I think he's a missionary in like Africa now. I just remember he left because like he thought he was called away.
That's what they do. People that do that. Oh,
He used to live in Seoul. I think it's in Japan. Somewhere.
Korea.
I'm like, that's not in Japan.
Close enough. It's in like Asia-ish.
Do you know where Korea is?
It's around the same.
You know where Korea and
area.
Japan are?
I know North Korea is like.
That's just like saying, I live in North Carolina. Yeah, I live in Oklahoma. That's close enough.
Well, South Carolina doesn't exist. We don't need that. We can annex that. Also, New Jersey.
No,
don't
we're-
need them either.
Yeah, we're gonna annex anyway. We're annexing New Jersey first, then we're annexing Florida, and then we'll talk after
You
that.
can't stop the
I'm like, let's worry about getting rid of New Jersey first before we worry about South Carolina. I have nothing.
That's
wrong with
why
South
our one
Carolina.
aunt sucks because she's from New Jersey.
Who are you talking about?
One of Uncle John's old wives.
Well, she's not your aunt anymore. She's divorced, so she is nothing to you, actually.
I don't know her actual name because it doesn't matter to me, but she's mean. I
I'm
don't
glad
like
that
her.
you know she came from New Jersey, though, is the one thing.
Yeah, because New Jersey sucks.
New Jersey does suck. New Jersey is the butthole of the United States.
That is very true.
And Florida's the armpit.
So all you people that are on there for us.
It's okay, it means I get more viewers. I will be happy if people want to fill the chat with hate comments, because that means we're getting traffic.
I say that all the time.
I'm
It's one
like-
of my main conversation starters is which of the states should we just get rid of?
Like-
Don't want them anymore.
It's like any publicity is good publicity.
That's right. I guess so.
A lot of people
So
actually
sure,
hate
all the-
Oregon. I don't know why.
What's wrong with Oregon?
I don't know, but when I ask this question, they pick like ones like no one goes to like Nebraska. Like who goes to Nebraska?
Well, there's a difference between it being bad and just the fact that no one goes there.
And that's what I'm saying. Like we should kick
New
out the
Jersey
bad
is
ones.
just a bunch. Like, you ever see like the top 10 funniest home videos or like top 10
it's New
stupidest home
Jersey or
videos?
Florida.
Yeah, half of them will be from New Jersey and Florida.
Come on,
There's probably
man.
going to be a couple of California in there too, but like most of the time it's New Jersey or Florida. And
What was that?
what was your what?
I'm looking at something. I forgot what it was.
I don't know. You started out talking about New Zealand, so I don't know where we went off the rails, to be honest. I think there's just
I think you should have a new segment on here. Olivia's geography.
yeah. Well, to be fair,
Used to be
to
so
give
good at geography.
Olivia a little fairness here, if we had Malin here, it probably would only be like a step above.
Well, I mean, that's what I mean. You should have
I'm
Olivia,
so much smarter than her.
Olivia and
That's still
Madeline
debatable.
geography discussion.
Like,
I know
think,
like some things are.
I think Malin's like geography skills be like slightly above yours.
Like if I had a blank map in front of me, I could point to all these places. Like because I'm visualizing, I forgot there are islands off of Australia.
You still thought it was somewhere it totally was not.
Yeah, because like all the cool things are in Europe.
I've never been to New Zealand. I like New Zealand.
I hear it's a good place.
I watched this girl's YouTube
Someone
video.
I watched
She's really
recently
cool.
just like,
Been to Australia a couple times.
I want to go to Australia. Don't have cool that
oh,
It's really cool, but
there's Wonder Man and Spider Woman.
long, long flight.
He looks gay.
But it is a very cool.
Yeah, I think that's just his vibe.
Cool.
Wonder Man.
Looks like
Is the Wonder Man that just wears the glasses, or
Yeah.
Try not to hurt them, but there's no
Kinda
time for
lame.
something. Take them down.
Do you have any other world facts you would like to share with us, Olivia?
I don't know.
Why run around from these guys and what they own country?
Olivia's geography moment.
Well, she also doesn't know which world war the Nazis came from, so...
I think it's the second one, right? That's what I was looking at. I was looking at what caused World War One. What caused the first one?
Germans were in World War One too.
They were in both.
Well, I know they were...
But yes, they...
She's like, which ones were the Nazis in again? I'm like, oh,
it's when they assassinated the Duke.
yes.
I
And
knew
that was the
one
reason the whole thing essentially happened was because everyone had all these alliances. So if one country went to war, like 6 others went to war too because of alliances.
Yeah, France. Actually, France is pretty cool. I like it.
I think France is fine. I don't have anything in particular against them. Was Wonder Man the one you said that was essentially like Wonder Woman by a guy?
No, that's what Stan Lee said. That's why she came up with it.
Was it good?
Yeah.
I love when they do that.
Well, we're gonna make a Wonder Man. No, but Wonder Man's back story is that he's whatever his I can't remember. There was originally Wonder Man, then he died, and then they came back, and then part of his essence was supposed to be turned into Vision. Was originally supposed to be made from the body of the original Human Torch, but then they retconned that and said no, he wasn't. He actually was made of parts from Ultron from the original Human Torch.
That sounds just needlessly complicated.
They're all confused. But that's what happens when you have a character you're writing comics for 40 years about them.
I like how I somehow clipped out of my own like fusion attack because they attacked me. So if Daredevil kept doing it, I was clipped out of it, so I just kept fighting. Like, okay, cool, whatever. So I'm fighting Spider-Woman right now. I think she's hitting me with like some sort of electric power, but I don't really know. Wonder Man guy looks like he's using some sort of dark war thing. I'll use a Gambit, but he's a lot squishier, so I use Miss Marvel because at least she resists like half damage types.
I really like this back.
Are you still on social media?
Yeah. I'm social.
Well, maybe interact with the chat a little.
Hi, chat.
Say something. Tell us about your life.
Tell me about your life, chat.
Tell us why you left yesterday when we were trying to watch Ride and the Last Dragon.
Yeah, why'd you leave?
Because I got bored. I honestly got bored, guys.
That's good.
That was good.
When did you leave? What part was on? What happened? It explained.
They
Talk
had
about the movie.
just got in to, I think it was Talon? The one where they found the baby.
Yeah.
It was after that. I was like,
The baby part was fun.
You're so... I thought it was cool. I really liked it. Actually, towards when they had, like, the ending part. Like, you know, I actually got kind of emotional with that. I thought it was pretty cool. Probably with the music, but I'm like, I was tearing up, so... That's just me. I'm a very emotional person with movies when it comes to, stop stunning me. When it comes to, like, if you put, like, a good, like, emotional track behind any scene, I probably could cry from it, just because I'm very, like, emotionally connected to music. So... That was just the first part. I love how long this level is. We're not even assaulting the fortress at this point. We're just looking for the entrance to the fortress. We are going to complete this game before we finish tonight. Miss Marvel was a skilled pilot and a published novelist before getting her powers.
Good for her. She should have been a wrestler.
I mean, she probably could have been, but I mean, she was already doing the pilot thing, so I mean,
I feel like the
MCU... She probably was getting her adrenaline out of that, so...
I feel like the MCU Miss Marvel would have been a wrestler. Well, she's a pain.
Well, she's not
a bad
she's
wrestler.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I think that's dumb. Miss Marvel's so cool.
Well, my biggest issue with it is that, like, I, on principle, don't like that idea. Because I've said a dozen times on stream before that I'm used to it, I'm used to Captain Marvel being what is now Shazam with Billy Batson and everything, because I watched the original, like, he had the name Captain Marvel first, and I'm used to her being Miss Marvel from this and from the X-Men cartoon. So, I'm just not used to hearing her being called Captain Marvel. Did she ever actually call herself that in the movie?
I don't think so. She called something about Mar and then Bell.
Well, she had her mentor is Marvel, but I'm like, did she ever actually call herself Captain Marvel at any point?
Just Carol Danvers.
Like, I actually don't remember that.
Well, when did the comics?
I don't know that either. I just know that it's. I vaguely remember what you said before, where it's like she had like a mentor or some guy who was called Captain Marvel and he died, so she took up that name in his honor.
But in this one, it was like, girl.
Well, the issue was like it wasn't that. It was more the fact that, like, she never kind of had that moment. Like, all heroes have that moment when they kind of cross over, where they go from being, I'm just a person with powers, or I'm just a damaged individual, and now I'm a hero. Like, she never had that moment.
I never got that in the movie.
She never hit that moment of where I'm a hero now. So that's what I'm saying. I don't.
She's like, I'm helping you because you need it, not because I want to. That's the vibe I get from her.
Well, that's the other thing I have to say about her that we were talking about last time. Was the fact, like, she only just conveniently shows up at the end of the fight, even though she could easily, like, stomp everyone. She only conveniently shows up at the end, when it's probably already too late. Like,
I mean, if her and Scarlet Witch would have teamed up during Endgame, they could have killed Thanos enough.
Well, she didn't show up in Infinity War at all, didn't she?
She showed up for, like, a little bit of a fight scene, but that was about it.
I don't think she was in Endgame, because her movie hadn't come out yet. Like, they just had the cameo at the end where Nick Fury, like, signaled for her, right?
No, that was at, yeah, that was when he was getting snapped. That was at Endgame, but in Infinity War.
No, was it? Which
No,
one came
Infinity
first?
War is first.
I thought Endgame came second, Infinity War came first.
Yeah. Because Endgame's the end of it.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. She doesn't show up in Infinity War, but she shows up in Endgame.
They're practically the same movie. They're, like, two parts of the same movie.
Pretty much. But the whole thing is, like, so if she had been there, she could have, like, because she's stronger than Thanos, apparently. So, like, literally, if she had shown up when he was collecting
Where did she even get her powers, too?
I got a thing on my head for some reason.
Did she get it from an Infinity Stone? Because so does Scarlet Witch. She's a powerful woman, too. I like Scarlet Witch better.
Well, my thing is, like, so essentially, if she had gone in the fight of stopping Thanos before he got all the Infinity... Oh, there's She-Hulk.
She-Hulk! She could be a wrestler.
We already went over this. It's pretty obvious she could be a wrestler.
She would look great in butterfly clips.
What? Is that like a hair thing?
Yes.
Like just regular clips, but
yes.
Butterflies?
Just for butterflies.
Why butterflies over something else?
Because they're cute.
Okay. But my whole thing is that, like, if she had joined in the fight when Thanos was still gathering the Infinity Stones, the whole universe wouldn't have gotten snapped because she can take them one-handed. You know? So, like, the whole thing I don't like with Captain Marvel is the fact that how, like, overpowered she is. She has, like, apparently no power limit, nor does she, like, she walks my range.
Moms do have more fun.
But, is that she's, like, there's no one who can beat her. Like, they essentially make it like, oh yeah, she's stronger than, like, Captain America and Thor and Iron Man and pretty much everyone else we have at this point in the story. So it's kind of like, well, why didn't you bring her out to begin with? Because evidently she can just punch Thanos. It's like, I don't like when they pull people, like, you can have powerful characters, but the reason you give them, like, balances and, like, weaknesses and stuff like that is more to make it so they don't win every fight, because if they do, they're like Hulk or Wolverine, where you're like, well, I don't know who I'm rooting for at this point, because he's never gonna die, no matter how powerful the foe is he's facing, because he'll always keep healing. Isn't that why you hate Wolverine, Dad?
Yes.
Because he can he can heal forever, so why will you ever care when he's in a fight? Because he'll just continue healing forever, and that's kind of the vibe I got with the Captain Marvel in the MCU, is it's kind of like, well, you can beat literally everyone, you're super powerful and pretty much invulnerable, and you fly and do laser blasts and all this stuff. We already went and proved that you're, like, uber powerful, and you can, like, you know, go toe-to-toe with Thanos without even trying. So, why do we even bother feeling anything about your fights? You're just you're never gonna lose, you know.
That's what I don't like about those.
Well, the thing is like it would not have been hard to get for a weakness, you know.
The tower-based control station is straight
It could have been anything, even just the fact of like they don't need to have even like a physical weakness or stuff like that. Just be like, okay, well this is the upper standard for powers. Like Thor, for instance, super powerful demigod, has a hammer and stuff like that. But like they always found a way to be like, oh, but he could still get beaten up. He has a limit to his endurance, you know.
Yeah.
He's not invincible. They made it very clear. He's against someone who can punch harder. There's one where he lost his hammer. You know, eventually there's also ones where it's like, oh yeah, he's okay with brawling, but when he's against smarter opponents, he has issues. Or if it's something he can't punch, then he has issues. So that's why he. Well, there went Black Panther. We'll take care. No.
So we could watch Spawn on Hulu.
She's throwing meteors at us, so I'm just gonna keep running. That's fire power. She's using power microwaves.
I'm not just another pretty face.
Watch this thing. This little like cue ball falling down.
Could use some backup here.
Working on it.
Most drills don't go to the silent type.
I'm just like constantly on fire in this one. Just the moment like my burning damage wears off, I'm burning again, so. You're staring so intensely at the camera right now.
I'm trying not to fall asleep.
Well then, don't sit there quietly, and that's the best way we find it, is like keep engaging with things and then you We're just going to the end of this level anyway, because that'll be the end of the game, hopefully, and then we should be ready to...
How far are you from the left right now?
I say, well, yeah, we're in the area, we're in the part of the game where you just fight boss fight after boss fight.
So have any of your watchers that are there, XC or anybody else, have they seen Suicide Squad yet?
Yeah, has anyone in the chat seen Suicide Squad, the new one?
My neck is itchy.
Livia's neck is itchy. Just so everyone knows.
My butt's itchy.
Spent 24 hours.
And we're talking to Yellow Jacket now. I'm like, Black Panther's dead, but Yellow Jacket's still here at least.
I thought you didn't play.
I know we didn't, but we're having communications of people who are saying, hey, here, put the thing here. And so we were originally talking to Black Panther, but then he like dramatically like cut out because you know it's the only way you can cut out. And so assumingly he did. Oh, here's Colossus. He's chucking things at us. He's chucking explosives at us. Great.
Me too.
I added Spawn to our watch list, so we'll have to watch Spawn. Because you know what I haven't watched that we haven't watched? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Like the ones where they had like the multiple costumes?
Yeah. Did you watch them?
I don't think so.
I know we
I think
have.
the earliest one I watched was the animated one, which I like that one. That one's pretty good.
The one that they rebooted was really good.
The live action one?
Yes.
The first one or the second one?
First one, and the second one wasn't bad either.
I just hear that was it Stephen Amell, whoever who played Casey?
He was terrible.
Yeah, that's why I heard him. Like that was the one thing they were like he was miscast.
Didn't you watch the one before then? It was with what's her name?
I watched the first one. I didn't watch the second one.
Okay, the first one was the one with what's her name from
Transformers?
Yes.
Whatever her name was. I don't remember what her name was, but I know who you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, she. Yeah, I remember it.
Yep.
And then there was other nameless guy number 3. Whoever what that guy was. There was some guy.
Yeah, he was like the sidekick guy. He was actually better than the first.
That's what I think is interesting, is that this guy who doesn't really, like, they took like a very well-known character from like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles thing, who was actually worse than the other random guy who just kind of tagged along.
Yeah. Oh, you know what movie? Somebody was asking last time, what's a movie that was a guilty pleasure? Not that it was a bad movie, but I was just thinking about that. Watching Billy Madison.
So she says, I saw Suicide Squad, but I don't want to get hit. I saw Suicide Squad, but I kind of had it in the background, so I wasn't fully paying attention to the film. Yeah, I get it. Some people do that. I personally have really hard difficulty focusing on anything else when there's like a screen on. It's the best and the worst thing.
We have to move off the front line.
But just zap everyone. But
We do want to watch it, but we gotta wait for family to come home.
yeah, one of many things. Because as you can tell by the fact that we have blonde Madeline here, is that they are still not in town. So, fingers crossed for Madeline being here on Tuesday. We're
They
really
have
hopeful
to
in
be
that.
back by then, because Mom
Well-
said she wants to take me to my first day.
It's not a matter of them being back, it's a matter of Madeline streaming with me again.
Like, they have to be back. Mom said she'd be back for my first day of
Madeline
school.
hasn't been seen on stream in, like, what,
Blondes do have more fun.
2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks?
Good for her.
Did we watch The Mummy Returns?
I think so.
I don't think we watched The Scorpion King. That was the third one. That was with.
No, we did not watch that. I don't recognize that.
Yeah, that's one with The Rock. That's
Okay.
the spin-off from The Mummy. So yeah,
I just know about the mummy.
yeah, I'm gonna have to run too because my battery's done.
That's fine.
And I guess it. But yes, Madeline should be back. Now you gotta tell your people that you're probably gonna change your stream time next week.
Yeah, that's the thing, is we are going to be, now we're into band season for us, which is like my other job I do, so I'm a color guard instructor. And we got games on Fridays, so we might not be streaming on Fridays. We were thinking it'd be either moving it to Thursdays or Saturdays. At least during the band season, because we won't have, like, boss fight, I'm guessing? We don't have, oh, that's encouraging. So we, at least during the band season, will have games which start at 6 and end at like 9, so and that's being optimistic, honestly. It's supposed to end at 9, but most of the time, as it is football games and they have to call a dozen and one timeouts, it usually ends up being like 11.
And
So,
then you also have to close up because you're the coach,
So, point is that it's probably just we do not have time on Fridays. So, personal opinions, should we do our second stream date on Thursday or on Saturday?
My job.
I think either one would work fine. But that would just have to be what we do during the band season. Which is pretty much until like November. I mean, I think by November we're just into parades and stuff like that, but at least we still continue doing Tuesdays.
your last parade is the week generally before. So the last football games will be around the end of October.
Yeah.
And then you should also, you probably can't even do Saturdays because you're going to be doing
At least it was cute that you tried so hard.
competitions.
Oh, true. Maybe we'll change it to Thursdays then.
Probably Thursday's your best bet.
So we might start moving it to Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah, explain to your team, your folks, what the competitions are, so they understand.
So those who are not as familiar with marching band is we go and Olivia was talking about it before. We do have this spy themed thing this year, but we go and play for our school at football games. But the bigger things we do is that we go to different competitions where we go and perform our shows and get judged and try and win some awards and all that. It's always a lot of fun. You tend to go the same amount of competitions each year. But, you know, our band director usually chooses like the same 3 and then like 1 extra one. But we do, and they're like all day affairs essentially. The idea is that because you'll perform and you have like your 20 minutes or so, like where you have to be like all getting ready and performing and you know stuff like that. But then the rest of the day you just watch the different performances until like they have the ceremonies usually at the end of the night, like 8 o'clock. So, but it's cool because you get to see all the different people, different performances, different skill levels. It's always nice to see the really big bands and like the sort of things they can do with like a bigger budget, stronger sound, and stuff like that. At the very least, it's at least funny to see how many like songs repeat and what themes repeat every year. Like, we're doing a spy show this year, but there always seems to be a spy or a heist show going on. There's always one that uses the road less traveled, poem. Someone always does that. There's always, like, one that's based off, like, a musical or something. Like, you'll either get, like, Peter Pan, or you'll get, gosh, what was the other one? I was just thinking of it, I just totally forgot it.
There's always the big bad wolf.
Yeah, that's true. There is always the big bad wolf, Little Red Riding Hood, some sort of vibe of that sort going on. And then, of course, you also have the ones that are just like, we're just going to play music and do it, like, we're going to be really deep in stuff. Like, there's no narrative going on. We're just doing 4 songs in a row and showing you how well we can do them all 4 together. But, you know, that is what it is. It's always a fun thing to do, but it is an all-day affair. So, he's correct in the fact that we probably will not be able to do them Saturdays, because it's kind of like you go in at, like, 10, and then you come home at, like, 12. in, like, at night. Just from travel time, and again, we're always the last to leave any sort of, like, event, because typically our family does a lot of, like, volunteer stuff, and I'm an instructor, so usually we're going to be the last ones, like, getting off the bus, making sure everything's back where it needs to be, and all that fun stuff. And then we just completely, like, pass out for all of Sunday. We call it our band competition hangover. Because it is just a very... They're fun, but they are definitely tiring.
So for some of them, because of the size of the band, you're usually one of the first ones on, which is good. But then, depending on how they do it, sometimes they break up the award ceremony so the small bands get earlier award ceremony. But most of the time they don't. So you're the first band on, but you got to sit through the entire day for awards, which is usually late at night.
Yep, we are a tiny band. We usually range somewhere between like 20 and 28 people. Collectively, that's through all sections of the band. Maybe not counting color guard. I don't know. Some people count color guard, some people don't. But that is the thing, is that we do have to go and stick around until awards happen, and sometimes that's not until the very end of the night, because you have to go through literally all the other classes. There's like 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A. The dumb thing is that even though there's like no official like mechanism for how they divide up bands, they just kind of leave it up to the host school, so it's a little bit of a mess, and it can be different for every different.
What a waste! You should have accepted Fury's offer, Ms. Marvel.
No thanks, Tinkerer. We're gonna bring your strange little world here
That's
crashing down.
We know what you're plotting. It won't work.
I love that some of these, like, the models don't load in the correct way, so they look really weird in cutscenes. I have some sort of goo ball on my head for some reason. I don't know why, but I do. Fun. I just love how, like, old games, you have these things where people aren't loading correctly. It's just funny. And now we're just gonna keep shooting people. We're almost at the final boss. I think we have, like, 2 more minor boss fights, and then we hit the final boss. We have this guy, we have the Tinkerer who's outside of here. He's been the guy who's been working with the Fold the whole time. So, fun stuff right there. Now we're facing Whirlwind again. He's from way earlier. We fought, I don't know when we fought him last time. Towards the beginning of the game, I think.
I think I'm thinking of who he was an enemy of originally.
He looks like a dwarf. Yeah, that's me.
No. I want to say he was of Ant-Man. Alright, I gotta go. Have fun.
Yeah, it's fine.
Stretch your thing.
So, it's one of those and then there one situations. It's just me now. Oh well. I really do look forward to Malin Dormton again, because I can go and shoot. Hopefully we'll be back to playing Astral Chain again, because we started that before our, like, everything got so crazy. And, you know, next thing you know, we're all running all over the place, and I'm just struggling to find a co-host of any kind, honestly. Did I get him? I think I got him. I don't know if I'm supposed to lead those bombs towards him or just avoid them myself. Like, that's the funny thing about game mechanics sometimes, is that you'll be like, you're looking for certain clues. Like, I think I remember watching, like, a video about, like, why is yellow so prevalent in horror games, you know, and stuff like that. So there's, like, certain, like, codings you look for in games. There's sometimes, like, whenever there's explosives around, like, going around the stage, you're either supposed to... Oh, I got him. Go me. You're either supposed to use them in some way, like, to hit a boss.
Ladies first.
or you're just, you know, you know, you're supposed to like use them for a boss or like something like that. I'm gonna actually level up my people real fast, just to make sure I got all my powers up. One more into that. Get more of that, and yeah. Since everyone's maxed out. I didn't get a chance to watch the stream. Yeah. Well, don't worry. We've only gone into the first case file, so we are literally still at the beginning of the game. Just right after that was when Malin went off to Erie, so we have not literally gone any farther than that. Unfortunately. Extra crushing damage, tank stamina, extra body. Yeah, that's fine. Should I take all of these? Can I put anything more than impervious body? No. Okay, that's fine. Just put all those in there. But, so don't worry about that, actually. We're gonna get there eventually. I've already beaten the game, so it's kind of defeats the purpose, for me just to go through it, because I've already done it. So, we have to wait until Malin gets back, essentially, in order to continue on with that game. But we're only in the first area. So, well, we just finished the first case file. We have 2 legions officially now, which are our creature things that we use to fight with. So, you don't have to worry too much about that. We didn't miss much on that front, but we would like to get back to it. Malin really enjoys it. It's a really good looking game in general. I mean, who doesn't want to go beat Anime Cop, you know? And that's just fun. Is there anything hidden back here? Gotta look for those hidden secrets. Nope, nothing back there. There's all these goo balls that are just following me, and I know, like, I played this game so many times, and I still don't know what the purpose is of those things. Besides, that they are, like, conglomerate together and they get on your head and look funny in cutscenes. Probably more reason for them than that, but whatever. So, we'll get back to Astral Chain as soon as Malin gets back. We had the Nuzlocke too I was doing with my dad for a while, but we decided to play this game, which, you know, isn't too hard to complete in 3 sessions. Honestly, it's pretty quick to play. It's about a 9-hour game, and if you go in the fact that most time streams last for about 3 to 4 hours, like 3 streams is actually perfect on. Okay, go figure. It's perfectly on track right now, so. I will beat you ugly. Love stun moves. Anyway, let's get over to the thing so we can keep the people from respawning. I hate respawn points in games. Like, you know, I remember once I played a Harry Potter game on the PlayStation 2. I think it was Goblet of Fire. And I actually enjoyed it even if I was, you know, younger, so like, I think that, like, until you're, like, the age of, like, 12 or 13, you don't really understand how game mechanics work. You just press a lot of buttons and see what happens. But you don't really know how to strategize or, like, oh, pressing this and this combo gives me this sort of move. Like how it took me, like, several playthroughs of Pokemon before I really understood typings and moves and stuff like that. Like, my original playthroughs of games, not pretty. I went ahead and Napoleon, and I let him essentially, I think, forget. I don't know, it might have. I don't know why I made him forget. It might have been Drill Peck or something like that. But I made him forget it's actually a really good move for a Whirlpool, which is an infinitely worse move. But I assumed that since he was learning it at, like, level 80, I'm like, oh, Whirlpool must be a really good move then. Yeah, I just didn't know a lot about Pokemon back then. It's like a base 25 power move, which is not really good, especially not for that high level. Like, at that point in the game, you're busy just trying to beat all, like, bosses and stuff like that. You don't want a dinky little move like that. Still kind of surprising me that they learned that so late. And honestly, also the anime's a little bit distracting in that part, because they have Dawn with her Piplup, and make it look like, you know, Whirlpool's this big awesome move. Can we pull this thing in here? Okay, we're good? Good. You guys are spawning from somewhere. Again, this is what I'm saying about before with spawn points are pain. Okay, everyone die. Honestly, you don't need anything really besides the clearing specials, because they're the best ones you want to use if you have a bunch of people on top of you. All makes me wonder about like how the actual Civil War storyline ended, because like this one ends with, hey, we're dealing with alien threat, so kind of we all have to come together over this, you know? So there's not really a choice of, hey, let's fight. Let's see, where are we going now? Okay, well, there's a wall, so that's probably a good sign. But, like, I feel like there's a lot of games I used to play when I was younger that I kind of want to go back and revisit, being like, I remember I used to struggle with this so much before, but I bet I wouldn't struggle with it now because I actually understand how to play games. Like, a big one for that would be, like, for instance, Kingdom Hearts. I really, like, enjoyed playing Kingdom Hearts when I was younger, but I didn't really understand the mechanics of it, or strategy, or anything. I like never used magic spells, and that makes the game very hard if you don't do that. So, you know, I just didn't really understand it at the time. So I'm surprised I got as far as I did. Like, I thought that was also the age of where, like, looking up walkthroughs online was, like, amazing to me. So, oh my gosh, there's people online that can go and tell me how to play a game. And, like, the fact that my cousin would, like, print that out for me, I thought was the coolest thing in the world. So that was also the time where you used to, like, buy strategy guides. I know, I buy strategy guides now for the novelty of it. Like, I like seeing my favorite characters in a printed form. So, like, I have a bunch of strategy guides for Fire Emblem, for instance, even though I've beaten all of them. Well, with the exception of, like, 2 at this point. Like, I just want the artwork. I'm like, cool, look, I can have the artwork of the characters in here. And also, Fire Emblem's an interesting game to have a strategy guide for, because it's random generated, you know, it has the whole RPG, RNG, some more vicious than others, so it's kind of like, they can tell you strategies or how to get through the levels, but they can't really tell you how to beat the levels. They can give you recommendations of who to build, or be like, hey, maybe pick a mage this level because there's this, that, and the other, you know, things like that. But I think it'd be a hard game to strategize for unless you're like Ace in the later games that had a lot more, like, again, strategizing going on, but like, I don't know how you do that sort of thing. Because Fire Emblem's kind of a very, like, it has a lot of replayability because of the fact that due to the random number generator, and, you know, that does pretty much everything from combat and stats to all other sorts of stuff. Like, you know, you can literally have a different playthrough each time. I mean, I have. I like, played Path of Radiance, for instance, which is the one on GameCube, several times, and the characters have been different each time. There's like one character I really like who's a mage, and I've played with him slightly different each time. Like one, for instance, he had a really good speed stat, so he doubled a lot of people, and another time he didn't. His speed wasn't that great that run around, so he did get doubled by people more often. You know, it's little things like that that you can do. Not to mention, like before Awakening and the other ones that came on the DS, like the Fire Emblem Renaissance, you could only do, like, you know, your bond conversations, you know, to bring your characters together to help you, like, learn about the characters, and honestly, I think the whole support system is one of the strongest things Fire Emblem has going for it. That really helps you learn about the characters. Yeah, I can steal myself, why not? You know, that stuff didn't come along, you know, was more like a reserved resource. That's why I played through things like Path of Radiance and Sacred Stones so many times, because you only could get 5 per character, so it meant that at best you could complete like one conversation. So, are we doing the boss fight now? Going for the Tinkerer. He's my last boss fight, I think, if I remember correctly. But if you wanted to do multiple characters, then you had to like play the game multiple times. Like, well, in Awakening they had infinite supports, which is the better system. Without doubt, is the better system. But it also means you can do what my sister was doing. You make support charts and just get literally, if you grind long enough, you can literally get all of the characters in the game. I think probably the best balance was in Conquest, which is one of the Faith series that came right after Awakening, where it's close to the classic Fire Emblem in terms of, you know, you can't grind. You have to literally just manage your resources level to level, which I kind of like that difficulty a little better. Because I think anything can be beaten with enough grinding, and that kind of defeats the purpose of the game.
Well, you could have selected the painless option. Instead, you chose this.
I'm like, I like how he's just like, this. Like, that's supposed to be a really impressive option or something. Like I'm being super, like, dramatic right now. Kill these dudes. Shoot my laser beams.
Next time, don't pick a
One.
fight with a girl.
Almost there, come on. Thank you. Shoot the lasers, shoot the lasers, shoot the lasers. See, these are the kind of boss fights I find annoying, where it's like, other ones it's like, okay, you need strategy, you need to use this something like this. Boss fights are like, okay, keep damaging me until you get into my, like I have impenetrable shields until I don't, you know? Like, you can't damage me until you take down my shields, but my shields will regen in, like, 5 seconds, so take your time, take your opportunity to go and kill me, you know? Until you get my shield dudes done, you know? Come on. This guy's health bar is going down so incredibly slow. Admittedly, this is a lot easier of a boss fight when you're not doing it by yourself. Normally I play this game with my sister, but we couldn't get the second controller working, so that's why I'm by myself again. So, come on. At least my thing's charging up pretty fast because that one thing I put on myself. And ground pound attacks, just annoying. I will say though, one of the best things you have when you're doing like your own game is like ground pounds. Always good.
That whole
one.
take over humanity plan of yours, not gonna fly.
Okay, gotta recharge my attacks. Wait for my laser beams to do it. This is like flipping through the floor, but I think it's still hanging. Nope, it's not hanging. Okay, get closer. This is the thing. This beam she has is really useful. It's just so hard to hit.
Next time, don't pick a fight with a girl.
Okay, come on, get the dude. And explode. Whatever. Like, this one just takes a while because you gotta keep damaging his dudes, so it's literally just, they keep chucking enemies at you. Which, you know, it's a little annoying, because you're just kind of like, well, let me keep smashing these things. You know. So I will agree with what my dad said about the assessment of this game. Like, this is just a lot of beating up the other guy, and like, yeah. But then again, sometimes those games are like a lot of fun to play, because then you do just, sometimes you just like beating up a bunch of thugs. So I am more of a strategy game player, and I like RPGs. I like a good story. I like training a team. I like bonding with my characters. I'm really into like player characters and stuff like that. Like avatar characters because of that, because I like seeing myself in the character I'm playing. How's the other one still alive? There we go. This guy is so close to being dead. Let me shoot him. There we go. Okay. And he's got 4 of them now?
I still have to take you out.
Please tell me you guys are weaker at least. The good news is these guys don't really damage you, they just kind of chase you, but it's still annoying. Like, this is literally just one of those really long endurance fights where it's things. But, to be fair, this is the second to last boss fight, so it should be hard at this point, I guess. Clearing thing to at least get some of these guys off my back. If you could stop those knockback things, that'd be great. Why don't I even get the knockback up to range if I keep getting knocked back anyway? It's just no way. Yeah, I killed one of them, and there's like 3 of them left. This kind of reminds me of like why, you know, we like playing the Warriors games, because you can just kind of like kill 1,000 people at a time. Which I think is a more enjoyable experience than this, where you're just like being chased by a dozen people, but you can only like take out one of them. You're only meant to take out like one of them at a time. Which is kind of the unique thing about the Warriors games, is that you can't feel like you're taking out 30. Like the whole point is to be taking out like 80 at a time. That's the fun of it, you know. Okay. Well, one of you be hit by my laser beam. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. The good news is that for the most part, his energy attacks, Miss Marvel is immune to. because of her abilities, but it still takes forever. I want you guys to die.
Okay, that was eerie.
Both you. And he's immune again.
You asked for that.
And like this is literally just kind of run around until your thing recharges and then hit him again, and then run around until your thing recharges and hit him again. I'm just kind of wildly shooting most of the time. Admittedly, probably this would be an easier fight with Gambit because, like, damage-wise, because he has that 52 pickup, that's a really good, like, damage-dealing move. But he also is a lot squishier than Miss Marvel is, so I'd much rather have her and know I can take less damage myself, even if it's, I have to, like, more directly aim in order to do this, which is a bit of a pain. Hey, kudos on my team not dying until this point, though. I was expecting them to die at this point. Okay, let's see what I can get this thing. Okay. Come on. Okay, one of them down. That's nice. The other thing is that they just infinitely spawn. What is it with bosses and just infinitely spawning their minions? You know? Like, I prefer bosses that are like, you know, bosses. Like, you have to fight the person. You have to, like, there's a mechanism to getting them down, not just keep shooting their allies. Eventually they'll die. Something I did like when we played Fallon was that, like, all the bosses were unique. Simplistic perhaps, but, like, there was a distinct way of beating them. Okay. So close. Oh boy.
Hurry! Send the signal! We cannot hold out much longer!
Yeah, I know. Cause you know that's not over. We didn't kill the Tinkerer, so you know it's not over yet. Okay, we should be getting into the final phase here.
Good work! The signal upload is commencing. Wait, something is wrong! The upload has stopped! Dr. Finn, the Tinkerer must have locked them out somehow! Damn it! Alright, let me think. Okay, you should be able to override him if you can get to the top of the repeater tower itself. There should be a console up there that you can... They got Bishop! Down! Do whatever you have to! Just get that signal out!
Yeah, we're working on it, Black Panther. Trust me. But now this is literally just a, like, 10-minute long beat 'em up. They just keep punching people and spamming the buttons.
Need some backup
until they
here.
die.
First one to make a blonde joke gets pounded.
I'm just constantly on fire. That's my role right now. That's why I also do this pound move, is that like, it gives me air a lot of times, so it helps a little bit.
I could use a lift about now.
Both of you guys could stop shooting me, I really appreciate it. I remember we used to do this one when Madel had Storm because she could use like her glowy move in order to get like knock them down. She was playing this game. This game was so much easier when I played it with my sister. Because at least then we could like strategize and like divide and conquer it. There's a little token in the air. I'm trying to get at least 2 stars before I can charge it again. Okay, come on. Get here so I
Have
can
to
come.
move off the front line.
So many bombs. So many freaking bombs. Kind of annoying. I should have Jean Grey unlocked by this point because she does have a resistance to fire, which has really helped. Yeah, the other thing that Storm's useful for this is that she can blow people off the edge of this thing because we are in a confined space. So you can't just blow people off the edge if you so desire. And they're just a dude throwing bombs at me.
I will beat you ugly.
Tinkerer will be ready. Do not let him stand in your way.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Get the Tinkerer away from that console! Hurry!
Yeah, working on it.
What are you waiting for? Send out the stasis signal! Use the control console!
Yeah.
The upload is starting again. Hold your position. We cannot let anyone stop the signal this time.
Who's dealing? I called your bluff.
Halfway there! Are you alright?
Oh, but we're doing our best. That's great.
75% complete! Fast, my friend! Almost there!
Let's get going.
Well, okay, they died.
They're all paralyzed! Reports coming in now from all over the globe. It looks like the entire collective is down.
Well, of course, it's never that easy either.
We'll need to mobilize S.H.I.E.L.D. to begin rounding up and curing the nanite-infected population. Until
Hey, how much of S.H.I.E.L.D. is actually left at this point?
something's channeling strange energy signatures back through the network, converging in your vicinity. Can you investigate?
See? Even when he's a weird creature thing, he still only has one eye.
Cute trick. But did you really think we wouldn't see it coming?
It's over, Fury. You're alone. You can't possibly.
Oh, I'm not alone. You may have frozen the fold, but you haven't eliminated it. And with these new nanites, I can draw on the entire collective's power. I won't need more than a fraction of it to kill you. Then I'll shut down that annoying signal of yours for good. In another minute, it'll all be so clear.
I always forget I can guard in this game. I actually do heal damage. I am a little less commentary here since I'm trying to, you know, not die. And this is environment because Miss Marvel is immune to this kind of energy, so she's really useful for this boss fight. Just because she can kind of get real close without taking much damage. At least from this phase of it, like, Havoc uses the kinetic energy that she uses, so she's actually immune to that. Okay, yeah, that's the next part that I'm worried about. It's the fire damage. That was the one that I have issues with. Burning damage sucks.
You damn throwbacks are like bacteria compared to us.
I was sure I can block that or not.
We offered you everything. Can't you see that?
That's weird. Fine. Seems like a good time for streaming. Interesting part of the boss fight, though. I'll give you that. The fact that they're all just multiplying. This is exactly also why you have the move hit, like, ground pound things. Oh yeah, because they stole Bishop. So they have the ability too. Which is the whole absorbing energy thing.
Have to move off the front line.
I'm trying. Spamming the one move, yeah.
We've lost our patience with you.
The one thing I can't deal with is fire damage. Fire damage is fine.
We're in the wrong.
Yeah, I know. Getting close, we're getting close. Very focused on this boss fight right now. Yeah, this boss fight, if you have like Storm and Miss Marvel, this boss fight actually isn't too bad. Because Storm resists most elemental damage, especially electricity, which is an important one. And then Miss Marvel can resist the energy blast things, and she restores damage from energy blasts. She has a restorative thing, which is what I've been doing with Electro's damage. Is that she can, you can pretty much just block that and regain HP from it.
You're like amoebas compared to us.
Pretty good. Okay, we're good. I like how when he's like a robot, he has to have one eye gone. Because, you know, Nick Fury with 2 eyes would be weird. So they were just both chilling, you know, being like, man, we were stupid. It's weird having him just with his head.
Yeah, all right, Stretch. I can make it.
Sigh of pain.
Smart guy. But I'll take a shield nurse over him any day. So how are you feeling? How does it look like I'm feeling?
Could be a lot worse, all things considered. Everyone else who was infected is pretty much recovered, but the stuff that Tinker put in you was 10 times.
Yeah, I know. But believe me, I know. Listen, guys, about all this, I just wanted to,
You can stop there, Nick. There's plenty of blame to go around, on all sides.
He's trying to
Plenty of
apologize.
cleaning up yet to do.
Yeah, there is that. I know you'll put it right. Get things back to where they used to be.
I'm not sure things will ever be quite the same as they used to be.
No, but that doesn't mean they can't be good again.
Walking off dramatically. Because you know there's no way to end a cutscene besides walking off
And
dramatically.
so with the global battle against the Fold now won, thanks in large part to the combined efforts of the world's superheroes, Congress this week voted to overturn the Superhuman Registration Act.
Long enough.
Additionally, all members of the anti-registration movement have been granted full amnesty by the president. Does this mean the country's superheroes can get back to doing what they do best? Former anti-reg movement leader Captain America,
Yeah,
speaking
exactly.
earlier today at a Lincoln Memorial rally, said he hoped so.
I was like, I'm not done talking to you guys.
Nearly all of us got distracted from a hero's main responsibility, to help those who need it most.
It's okay. He's got them on speed
Thanks to
dial.
the actions of a small but steadfast team, we've been given another chance. We must not
Why is it
squander
these 4?
and we
Why
won't.
is literally my entire team but Miss Marvel?
We saw what could happen if all individuality were lost.
I feel cheated here. Why is
But we
Iceman
were
there?
also reminded that there are some things we can only
Like, what the heck?
accomplish
That's
when
literally
we're
my entire
united.
team except for the one person I
Now,
used the entire game.
Our alliance stands
What the heck is
reforged,
Iceman doing there?
ready to meet whatever challenge might be next, together.
Screw this game. I can go through this whole game just to have Miss Marvel snubbed at the end during the closing credits. Anyway, that's the end of that game. The boss battles at the end aren't necessarily challenging. I know how to beat them because I've beaten them so many times. I know, it's so random why she wasn't there. Like, literally, the rest of people I had for the rest of the game was just Gambit, Deadpool, and I just love Daredevil in because I like his alternate costume. I'm like, the one person I actually used, which was Marvel, I'm like, man, I'm like, should I say that's sexist or what? It's just, we had to have somebody with man in his name. We couldn't have someone with Mist in the name. I don't like Captain Marvel because of the MCU, but I'm like, I do like Miss Marvel a lot. Just because in this one, I feel so powerful. She's also just really good because her resistances. That and Storm. But anyway, this was a great game. This was probably my 8th time beating this game.
How did you get in here?
Dude, it's what I do.
Okay, well, What do you want, Mr. Deadpool? We're kind of
Deadpool's
busy
breaking the
trying
fourth
to wrap
wall.
up production on-
Yeah, geek boy. I've heard of crunch time. You think I don't play these games?
Fine. What can we do for you?
First off, I'm not here 'cause I'm happy. I was told the game was gonna be called Deadpool and His Inferior Friends.
What? Who told you that?
Someone from marketing.
It's crazy. Even they wouldn't...
Yeah, she did. Might have had something to do with the katana I was sticking up her nose at the time.
Great. Well, I guess you can take it up with them?
I'm not done.
Of course not. Okay, let me just finish typing this and... There we are. So, you wanted to say?
Okay, here's the thing. In this game, I'm hardly any more powerful than any of these other idiots.
You mean the other playable superheroes?
Right, them.
We try to balance all the characters so that none of them are too powerful.
Like, this is also how I got to know Deadpool, was he had all this funny commentary at the end.
I can take down any of them goody two-shoes wimps.
The Hulk?
Like, I'm a big believer that Deadpool can be really funny when he's just doing his fourth wall breaking thing. He doesn't need to be excessively vulgar.
Thor?
He can be.
Look, Poindexter, I'll
But
show you just what I can do. Hey, where are my swords?
Yeah, I just turned them off.
The hell does that mean? I didn't know you could turn them on.
You think this fourth wall stuff of yours only works in one direction? All I had to do is change one line of code, and now none of your powers or attacks will work.
What the? You pimply-faced paper and dice playing prom-skipping nerd hole! Give me back my powers!
Keep it up, and we'll pull you out of the game entirely. Maybe stick you into downloadable content later. Maybe not even that.
Jeez, all right,
Downloadable
I'm
content.
going. But when no one buys this game, don't come crying to me. Try to help these jerks, and what do you get? Attitude. Soon as I get my powers back, I'll come back and show Pizza Boy there how many hit points he's got.
Best credits ever is when you have Deadpool going and berating the game designers. Yeah, well, I've brought it before. We played Ultimate Alliance a couple times, really great. This game and that game I love because of how many superheroes I learned of that I never knew existed in the Marvel canon from these games. It's a lot of fun and great for cameos. It's like it's like the Smash Bros of the Marvel universe to me, as far as I just love seeing all these characters I don't normally get to see. I actually played Miss Marvel in the first Ultimate Alliance too. I played her and Spider-Woman, who sadly was not playable in this game. There's a much bigger cast in the Ultimate Alliance 1, but it also has a lot harder gameplay, and it's a lot longer game, so I figured this was the faster one. But I've beaten this with my sisters, several times, and then we took this to the beach, and I played with one of the guys who was there because we were all sharing a beach house. And we probably beat that thing, 4 times, at least, while we were there. Literally would spend the entire day just seeing if we could beat it, so that's why I know this is a 9-hour experience. So I've beaten this game, it's still enjoyable. I love it. It's I think the superior version of if you have to get Civil War in so many hours without reading the comics, I think this is a very good way to do it. It teaches you it has a lot of classics, like Iron Man and Captain America and the Fantastic Four, but it also has a lot of people you don't know of. For instance, I didn't know Songbird existed. I still don't know a lot about her, but I know more about her because of this game. I know she exists because of this game. And the mechanics are fun. They tightened them up from the last game, so maybe not quite as large diversity as they had in the previous game, but the game's a lot more compacted, and I think the controls work a lot better in this game. And I mean, it's been nostalgia for me too. I mean, I played this a lot in previous years, so it's always nice to go back and visit. I thought it was good since my dad here is a big comic book geek. I thought it would be good to play a comic book game. It's one of the few superhero games I own. I think it's this and Ultimate Alliance and a handful of Spider-Man games that are the ones I have. Maybe I have a Batman one in there somewhere, but it's a really good game. I definitely recommend it. You probably could get it really easily. This is Xbox 360 here, so and you don't need to play the first one in order to understand this one. It says Ultimate Alliance 2, but you don't need it. You don't need the first one to understand this one. They're both entirely separate stories. It's Ultimate Alliance 2 in the way that you have Smash Bros. 2, as far as it's the same concept, just in a different game. I would definitely highly recommend it for anyone who thought it looked fun playing this. It's pretty quick to play sort of game. Lots of fun in 2-player. I can definitely say assured of that if you have anyone to play it with. Yeah, it was fun to beat this again. It was a nostalgia trip for me, honestly, to go through this again, and I very much enjoyed it. I wasn't able to unlock everyone. Like sometimes I can go through and I unlock all the characters. I'm still missing a couple of the collectible characters, namely like Phoenix is the one I like the most, and because she has that nice fire resistance, which is the one type of which is the one kind of damage Miss Marvel does not resist. So I have her for fire damage, but yeah, we've actually beaten it on all the different difficulties. I think the only one we didn't play was legendary difficulty. But we've beaten like the harder difficulties, and you can do it if you just level up. Like, what the heck? Why do I have Iceman? Why do I have Iceman? I am like so immensely offended right now, and you even consider that as an option here. Come on, Miss Marvel's, where is that? So yeah, I would say Ixie or anyone else who's watching, if you think these games look good, by all means try them out. You should be pretty. It shouldn't be too hard to get your hands on them at this point, because they're pretty old. I mean, there might be other ways that you can play, unofficial digital ways you can play these games too. But I'm just gonna save just for the sake of doing it. Anyway, so that's all. I think we're gonna close out for the night. We're here about 3 hours, which is pretty good. And that's what we wanted to do tonight, was complete this game, which we've done that now. Oh, really? I didn't know it was... That'd be cool. See, I have a PS4. That's probably my other favorite... Like, my Switch and my PS4 are probably my two favorite consoles I own. Just because they're more transportable, and they plug into things very easily. Not like I have to try and get, like, 4 cords into some of these older consoles. As much as I love the older consoles, some of them are just a hassle to hook up to. But PS4 and Switch are probably the most portable consoles I have, and they're strong consoles, even though they're old gen at this point. Because I got the old Switch with the plentiful Joy-Con drift. But I didn't know it was for PS4. I should see if I can get that. Because I really do. I do love Ultimate Alliance a lot. Now the funny thing, as long as we're just... I'll wrap up pretty quickly here, but the other thing is, like, there is an Ultimate Alliance 3 that's for Switch. And I've been thinking of checking it out. My biggest reservation is that both of these games came before the Marvel Renaissance, essentially, before the MCU existed. And Ultimate Alliance 3 is coming after the MCU, after pretty much Infinity War, you know? I think. It might come right before Infinity War, I can't remember exactly the timing. But when we're having all the things, so like the biggest ones they were advertising, like the Guardians of the Galaxy was there, Iron Man was there, Captain America was there. So, like, the biggest thing that I am hesitant about buying it for, and mainly just Switch games are so expensive, and I have so many I already want to buy, but the biggest thing and I've not seen reviews of this game, because I generally don't watch game reviews before I play them. I watch movie reviews sometimes, because I don't always have time to watch movies, but I don't generally watch game reviews before I play them. And the thing is that, like, I don't want to play Ultimate Alliance 3 if it's just going to be, here's the MCU characters. Because the core thing I love about these games was learning about characters I did not know. Like, characters I did not know existed. More about characters I didn't know yet. I literally got this one because I love Gambit, so I have Gambit in here. So my only reservation about playing Ultimate Alliance 3, because trust me, I was so thrilled when they announced they were doing a third one, is they will just be the MCU characters. Not that I don't like them, but the biggest strength I thought about these games was showing you characters you had not heard of. Getting you interesting characters you never heard of, which promotes like comic book sales and other things, you know. So I don't know. I might, if I ever get that game, I'll play it on stream because I think this was quite enjoyable. I would love to play on a stream, especially because these sort of two-player games like this are pretty easy to do that way. And if it's a beat 'em up like this one is, then it'd probably be fun to play on stream. But we'll see. I also have to look into that because it'd be cool to see if this was on PS4. Because if it did come in a double pack on PS4, I'd probably get it. Like, just to have it on a newer console that's way easier to plug in than digging up the Xbox 360, which is like a jet engine when it's running. Anyway, so, thanks everyone for joining us today. For everyone who stuck in, our lurkers and our regular peoples, always fun to have you guys around. I love being able to do this. As much trouble as it is to hook up the audio and the camera and everything every week. Love doing this every week. So just to recap, for those of you who have not been here, we will be here Tuesday, hopefully Madeline will be here. Hopefully we'll be playing Astral Chain. And we will not be here next Friday. We're going to think on doing Thursdays. So, we're going to be doing probably hopefully the same time, 7, or honestly probably 8 o'clock, but on Thursday this time. Because we have a game on Friday, so it means that we will not be able to be here at our normal time on Friday. And we would use Saturday, but we're going to be having competitions on Saturday for band. This is because I'm also a color guard instructor. So I got a job, you know? But, so we'll see you Tuesday and Thursday next week. Hopefully Madeline will be back. Hopefully we'll be right back on schedule with Astro Chain. And, you know, have some fun with that game. So thank you everyone for showing up. Thank you for everyone for chatting. Love seeing you guys here. And good night.